Yay! Hello, hello. I hope everyone's doing well. Hello, Pam, Commander, Joy, Alibaba, Sydney. Good to see everybody. Hello, hello. Yay, Gilroy. How's it going? How's it going? I am slowly setting up here. I have my fan going because, like I said in the title, it's still summer. I hope everyone's doing well. Welcome to the Godless Sewing channel. It is Monday night. If anyone wants to join, please let me know. I usually leave Mondays open for chatting, sewing, and saying hello. I have a bunch of projects going on. There's a ton of stuff going on today. So welcome to the Godless Sewing channel. Do you still have the machine of the week on your desk? Absolutely. I got into it. I forgot how awesome the Touchtronic 2001 was. I forgot. And that's the beauty of unearthing all of these machines. I'm really going through everything in my house and decluttering. And so I'm like remembering all these things that I've purchased over the years. Hello. Hello. Yay. Awesome. Awesome. Hello, Gilroy. Good to see everybody. Can you send some of that summer weather up here? It was unreal. It was yesterday it was 92 and today it was more in the 90s. I've never used or touched a Singer 2001 yet. I'm going to turn it on in a second. It makes it stereotypical noises. It's an awesome machine. I absolutely love the machine. Awesome to anyone that's joining us right now. I hope you're having a good evening. It's Monday night. I don't know where to start. I was thinking about making something out of this, but I haven't quite decided yet. But ever since I laid eyes on this material, it screams poncho to me. Says the guy that has how many jackets and ponchos. But you can never have enough, I guess. At least that's the story I keep on telling myself. Let's see what else. Oh, I also put a zipper on the jacket that I added a hood on last week. And so I'm really stoked. I'll be showing that off as well. I finally got over my fear of the zipper. Can you send some? I finally got over my fear of the zipper, which it only took 40 something years. I'm like flipping through my notes and I'm seeing all the things that I've been writing down over the past couple of months. And the first thing I flipped on was make a singlet. I think it's time to make a singlet. But this program is for entertainment purposes only, and this kind of content is not intended to malign any religion, race, company, individual, or wigs. All opinions expressed by Godless Sewing and program participants are solely their personal views and do not reflect the opinion of every human being on planet Earth. I hope everybody has a great evening flying Godless Sewing Airlines. How are you doing this evening, Commander?
All right, when the AI denoiser works, it's great. Yes, that's right. Every human being has an opinion and an asshole. Sometimes the two combine.
It's Monday. Let's sew and whine about things.
Thursday, I'm going to be purchasing my plane tickets for a very special trip.
Awesome. Awesome. I have problems with zippers still. Good to know, Alibaba. I'm not a fan, but I was really excited. And my Touchtronic 2001 kind of made it anticlimactic. That's why I put it in the video, because there was no failure. We're officially in fall here now. Isaiah and I, we took a walk today because we have full intentions on being healthy. So we were walking our mile today, and I looked at him and I said, it's raining and snowing in other places right now. And he's like, I know. And we're both wearing cutoff shirts because it was so hot. Invisible zippers and I are not too fond of sewing. I'm not too fond of sewing. 7 Celsius here, 44.6 Fahrenheit. Yikes.
I will be right back. I'm gonna look for something for fall.
No, no
And
worries.
I'm gonna still be here. I'm just gonna mute so that it doesn't like start premature.
Please keep my family in your thoughts because they are in Israel. Absolutely. Absolutely. I actually have a friend who was evacuated where he lives. Will do, Sydney. Absolutely. Absolutely. 45. Alexa, what's the temperature right now?
Right now, it's 73 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh, it's 73 and I have the fan on. 73 at night. Absolutely, Sydney. Absolutely. It's kind of crazy how it's been the past couple of days as far as the weather goes. I hate the cold. Do you know what's so funny? After this summer, I'm over all of it. Where can I live that's not here that's 70 degrees all the time? Sure, I just have to head south and go anywhere across the globe. 58 here. Awesome. Awesome. It's unseasonably warm. Everybody's kind of like what month is it, you know? And the funny thing is, you can tell when it's unseasonably anything because Californians talk about everything except for the weather because we already know what the weather is. Like, it's kind of cliche, but you literally, like, out here, you just have to stick your head outside. It's not even complicated. So when we're talking about the weather, it's gross. Awesome. Awesome. So I feel like I should show off my Touchtronic a little bit. 66. Awesome. The weather is so weirdly unpredictable around here. We used to be able to set our watches by it. Hopefully later, Professor Waternay will be by to explain the Santa Ana winds. But so I thought it was really interesting that the Touchtronic 2001 was, I'm gonna make myself big for a second. Hello. How's everybody doing? It's Monday night. I hope everyone's having a great evening. So the Touchtronic 2001, besides the fact that it makes an awesome noise, this was advertised as the first electronic sewing machine in 1978, but the Quantum XL kind of claims the same thing. A little bit of a controversy. I'm trying to put my book somewhere that it's not going. Oh, this thing is heavy.
I'm back.
Awesome. Awesome. I'm still surprised she keeps coming back to us. Dirtbag. Same. we're
Santa Ana winds, right? Where basically you're all punished for living in California, where someone decides that they're going to detonate a fucking huge bomb right in the middle of a dry field because they got a boy. And then the winds just carry the fire down the hills to Los Angeles at 100 fucking miles an hour.
Well, anyone who is from around here, like, I'm from the outskirts, and you just do not set off fireworks in the desert. You just do not do it because it's all dry brush. You know, so
That never stopped assholes.
but all that gender reveal stuff really made the state of California look really bad when they started doing that. But I've seen some bad ones, like people that some guy put dye in a waterfall and contaminated his town's water supply.
That was stupid and evil
Absolutely.
and selfish and
Sorry. Alibaba and I were from the same cave painting. I know that the Santa Ana winds are from Steely Dan. Do you know a long time ago? I lived in Hollywood, and a friend of mine who was from Maine, she turned and looked at me, and she was like, "How does it feel to be from a place that there's a bunch of songs about where you're from?" Do you know? I never thought about that. It was never anything that crossed my mind.
I
And
have
now I
a
have
little
hotel.
special.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, I have Hotel California stuck in my head.
I got something to get it out. It's fall, so I've got something to renew the fall spirit. Can you blow the picture up?
Yeah. Here, let's
The
switch.
sighting of the Great Pumpkin. Good evening. This is Skippers with PNN News. We are out here in a pumpkin patch somewhere in rural America near where Snoopy lives. We don't want to dox Snoopy. We've been informed by one Linus Van Pelt that one day the Great Pumpkin will come and he will appear here. And so we're waiting. Remember, Linus has waited his entire life for the coming of the Great Pumpkin. So, I always thought it was hogwash, but we're out here just to be sure. After all, Snoopy's over there. And we just gotta make sure that we don't miss the coming of the Great Pumpkin. Ah, fuck. If Linus hasn't seen it in 40 years, what chance do we have? What's that rumbling? Oh my goodness. It is. It's a Great Pumpkin rising. It's hundreds of feet in the air, and it's huge. This is awesome. Well, this is PNN News, bringing you this breaking report. We finally found the Great Pumpkin.
Love it.
And it just fucks off over there.
Oh, excuse me. I gotta plug this in. Let's see. Oh, that's anticlimactic without it buzzing or starting a fire. Holy shit! I'm going through the local news, and a convicted felon was arrested trying to sell a rifle at a yard sale. I have a bunch of questions for that. First off, in the state that you live in, is it legal to sell guns at a yard sale? Second off, how much money do you
not?
How much money do you really think you're gonna make? So that's strange to me. You're a bird, thought you were a banana. I loved it too. I loved it, Commander. Sydney did as well. Absolutely. One of the reasons I love this sewing machine, and let me know if you can hear it or not, but did you hear that?
Yes.
This is Star Trek. This should be on the Enterprise. I love this machine. Hold on. This thing should be on the Enterprise, on the original Enterprise. I love this thing. It still needs a little bit of help. I actually have to switch to the foot because it periodically moves back and forth and it will break the needle because this is a powerful machine. I actually I forgot. I was more impressed because I have every single chord except for one touch and sew, which is the elusive 4-prong that Fred Sanford happens to have. But this is one of those machines that I always wanted because I have the obnoxious commercial in my arsenal of things that are in my videos you've all seen 100 times. So I love this thing. And you know what? Sometimes it's not the big things in life, it's the little things.
Button make noise, me have fun.
I love this thing. I absolutely love this machine. I put my fan back on. It is so hot in here. But this is, I have a really odd group of machines that I always really wanted, and this was one of them. So I was actually shocked when I purchased this originally. It's legal to sell a rifle privately, but not for a felon to have a gun. Okay. I was wondering about that because a lot of that was just like, wow. So they claim that this was the first electronic sewing machine. I don't know. I
You
I
mean
live in America.
computer controlled, like with the different stitches? Because I'm
I
pretty
think so.
sure they were operated by electricity before.
Exactly. Still needs help, like a nice cast iron castment for gears and cams. It does. And maybe to look more like a Singer 431. I just love the angle that this thing sits at. I'm thinking about putting it in a table. I have a 19 what I think is 1970s, but it's probably a 1960s Singer table. My grandmother at her house, she had different themes in different rooms. And in the really fancy room, there was this table that there was always like a veil on it and it set a bunch of pictures and stuff. When I took everything out, I was like, this is a sewing table. And it says Singer on the bottom of the table. Have you seen that table for that? Wow. Yes. Because I've been doing a ton of research and now it's just popping up in my phone. That's why the second I saw that, I'm like, oh, that I need to throw that in the table. It's very, I love the James Bond look. I love that antiquated, like old school look. And this is it. I love this machine.
You mean retrofuturism?
When they thought that we'd be living on the moon with bubble helmets instead of bubble heads who should be on the moon.
That's a aesthetic that Fallout gets really well.
Where is my bubble helmet and my starship, by the way? I'm kidding. That does scream 1978. I love it. This is one of my favorite machines, but I have a hardcore love for like the 1960s and the 1970s sewing machines. I always say they look James Bond, but it's just I like that look. And you know what? Maybe it's because my grandmother's house, which I frequented throughout my entire life until it was sold. I was literally the last occupant in the house. Her house was stuck in 1971. It was 1971 in her house. So all of her stuff was James Bond and Sears. I'm gonna look that up. Can I Sears my house up? I'm gonna look that up. Because I know they got rid of the Sears by my house. Oh, the power's jumping on this thing. Time to turn it off. It's letting me know I will not be sewing with this.
Not until you get it fixed, anyway.
I was just really excited that it was able to sew the zipper on. That's the thing with machines like this. This is an actually extremely complicated machine, but with just I asked it just to do a straight stitch and it did it perfectly. So that's all that counts. But while sitting here, it started jumping. And if there's one thing I don't play around with in this room is the electronics. Well, the wiring maybe. I'm trying to see if I can. I think they're all closed. Apparently,
I'm looking for
sorry.
a render. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I'm looking to see if there's any Sears near me, or even like something I can order for Sears. No, there's no Sears. Does not exist near me anymore. That's funny. I guess all their stuff will live in thrift stores forever. And if there's ever a weird resurgence of 1960s and 70s stuff, I'm your guy because I have a ton of it. All right. So what else is going on, Commander? I feel like I should. So I decided to clean in this room. Let me see if I could back up a little bit. I gave myself some space, like NASA kind of space. I moved a table around. I brought the mannequins out because let's be real, like I use my mannequins as dress forms. And so because of that, I need them near me in the way that, or maybe it was the cord. Let me unplug this.
Looking for a render that I cannot find. It's of the clean background of that bunker that I have. It looks like
You're kind of muffled.
1960. Oh, that's because my head was turned away from the microphone. That better?
Yeah.
I don't think I can. Right now, I'm in the middle of a render, so I don't. Oh, this might be.
I know having a fear of sewing a button is not a big thing, but there's a lot of people that are not button fans. I mean, I'm sorry, zipper fans at all. So sewing a zipper on my Spock coat that kind of became a Matrix coat is a big deal.
I've never sewn a zipper.
Oh. So also, I've given myself a ton of space in this room again. I want to be able to bring my 6-foot table in here because I get some serious sewing done on my table. But my Spock coat officially has a zipper now, and I put it in my most recent video. If no one has seen it, I made a video last night of the sewing machine of the week. Do you know I'm one of those people that I just don't talk about things. I was talking about it last week, and I was like, you know what, that's a good idea because they don't have to be 20-minute videos. But
put the eagle head under the hood, and it will be like a cult thing.
that's for my my only eagles. I love this thing. And now that my mic is just not wanting to play today. This is very priestly.
Hand grenade is here.
But I love it. You know, every time I add something on this, I fall in love with it more and more. This thing is awesome. It's giving me
like Emperor Palpatine got a little bit of style.
It's definitely with this zipper up close. It's giving me Matrix vibes. If this was all black, this would be like a wannabe Matrix trench coat. And no, I'm still not over the Matrix look either. I have the coat. If I have nothing else to wear for Halloween, I'll be Neo again.
I don't know what to be for Halloween. Because if I spend too much money, I can't go somewhere. But I want to have some fun.
I usually just hand out candy to my neighbors. And the older Isaiah gets, he wants to hang around the house. So that's cool. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Joy. I was really surprised that the sewing machine could sewing machine was able to do this, but it went right through the zipper, everything. I did break a needle trying to connect the top piece, but that's okay because I need a wider foot for it. I discovered it has a tiny foot on it, so it was my issue and less sewing machine issue.
You know, I could see Emperor Palpatine wearing that. I really could.
Man, I hope they live in a place where it's cold because this is hot. Oh, I can't wait for winter if it ever shows up. Oh man! And if anyone's wondering, I used a Coates and Clark zipper, and it's beautiful. I miss the old YKK zippers, but apparently they don't make everything anymore. Oh man. It is unseasonably hot. Usually my fan isn't going this time of year. Oh, let me grab my phone. I almost ripped it away from my computer. Zippers are not difficult. I heard a horde of YKK zippers that I have a horde of YKK zippers that I salvaged. Do you know what it was, Pam? It was more I was more in my own head. And I'm so stuck on buttons. I love the way buttons look, but let's be real. Um, like my parents were a good 40 something years older than me. I grew up watching black and white movies, and during the pandemic, when everybody was hidden in the house, I sat in the house and watched every Sherlock Holmes movie I can get my hands on. So I'm obsessed with buttons. And that trench coat look too. And
Whenever I
also,
think of Sherlock Holmes, I think of all the adventures Picard and everyone had with Professor Moriarty.
did you watch Picard at all?
Not yet. I don't have Paramount Premium,
I won't give it away then.
Paramount Plus. You can hear the maraca?
No.
Okay, then my AI denoiser is working.
I have nothing but background noise today. My neighbor was sawing, but they chose to stop.
Good for them.
Well, no, well, I won't bring that up. It's a non-political show. This is non-political Monday. I know it's hard to not be political in the weird times that we live in right now. But I'm over all the strife and hatred that people point at each other because we can no longer have civil conversations about things.
I know, right? So the last little bit that I'm going to do in my next video, I'm going to, rather than me pump my voice through that hot smoking furry avatar, I'm going to pump Elon's voice through it.
Do you know really quickly, Pam, I walked past like a 4 foot by 4 foot box of zippers, and I'm thinking about going back to downtown and asking the guy how much for the whole box. He'd probably look at me like, "What are you smoking, kid?" But I saw this
I
giant.
think I just wasted a few hours rendering something for nothing. The setting on the driver was absolutely screwed up. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you were kind of muffled on that one too.
Oh yeah, because I turned my head away from the mic. That kind of happens when I was looking at my other computer. I have two computers here.
Got
One
it.
that I'm doing my 3D work on, and the other I am streaming with.
Also, recently I saw this, I see crazy things online and I'm like, you know what? I can make that. I can make that. I know it sounds crazy, but I saw a onesie where the zipper goes from the top all the way down the right leg. I mean, down to the foot.
That's interesting.
That's what I said. I watch a lot of high-end fashion, middle-end fashion, low-end fashion stuff. And it just came through on one of the million things that I watched. Somebody had this design where it was like a giant onesie, but it had a zipper all the way down. And I have a weird collection of onesies because I have a thrift store habit, but I gained some weight, so they're no longer funny. Oh man, where did I put my notes? There was something else that I wanted to gripe about before I get sewing. Okay, so am I the only person on earth that doesn't treat Halloween like a holiday anymore? Like, I treat it as like 1 or 2 days. I put my gnomes out. I have Day of the Dead gnomes that I put in my living room. I put my Day of the Dead blanket out. But I do not treat Halloween like a lot of people do nowadays. Do you feel that it's become something more than it is nowadays?
It has to defend itself because Christmas has already eaten Thanksgiving, and Halloween is next if it doesn't get bigger and healthier and fight for its life.
So no, you do not celebrate Halloween every day in the month of October, or
No, I do not.
godless, or like no godless sewing. You're wrong.
I do not celebrate it every single day in October.
It's the over commercialization of everything that's turning me into the person I don't want to be. I don't want to be the old guy sitting on his porch like, hey, why are we celebrating? But I've become that. We were having this conversation on the circus yesterday. Halloween just feels bland nowadays. Most holidays do. It feels so over. Like, I have friends who have had Halloween parties since the first. They've been going off every day, and I mean, like, these are grown adults over 40 and 50 years old. And I know people that are part of more of a we don't have kids crowd, and I look at them with just pure jealousy, like, oh man. But they start celebrating on the first. No, don't celebrate.
This is the intelligence that a hooker hired by Zuckerberg. We found out one of Elon's fetishes. So this is a picture of Elon taken by a hooker that Zuckerberg hired to spy on him.
So Pam does not celebrate every day. That picture is gonna live rent free in my head. Halloween almost got here. I have no kids coming
I gotta
around.
put an eye patch on it still.
Some people are trying to get Halloween stuff now, and they already have the Christmas stuff out. Oh, in my area, it's all Christmas. They have forgot. So that I'm like 50-50, but I know somebody that's on their third costume, and they asked me to help them make their fourth one, and I'm like, what day in the month is it? We're well into October now. Or maybe I you know what, and I'm not a wet blanket. If you celebrate Halloween every day, I'm not here to talk trash about you. I used to be affiliated with people who would celebrate your birthday every day of your birthday month. That's obnoxious to me. even on
Yes, it is.
my own month, and my birthday month is the shortest month of the year. And like, if you celebrated every day of that, I would not like you. Even if you bought
You
me a so
basically you
go ahead.
basically celebrate a birthday in the week the birthday happens. At maximum.
And I understand if your birthday's on like a Monday and you want to celebrate on a Saturday with your friends, or even on a Wednesday, I get it. Or maybe I'm just a wet blanket who sits in here and sews.
No, because if you like celebrate it every day of the month, then it loses its specialness. And then it becomes just blah blah blah, and then after a while you don't celebrate it anymore because you've celebrated it so goddamn much it's lost all of its meaning.
That's another thing. I agree with you on that. My son wanted me to make him a costume, talked about it months ago, but hasn't happened. I was talking about being a Power Ranger for Halloween, but that was contingent on me working out up until now, and I decided to eat cake and drink coffee. So I'm going to be wearing either my Harry Potter cloak or something awesome.
And
And
hopefully the algorithm does not crap out on me.
my wig, do you know what's really funny? Last week when everybody was watching, when I put my wig on, at least 4 or 5 people clicked off.
Wigs are perfectly fine, especially in the month of October. Why did you click off?
People, it was, I'm an extremely observant person, and it just made me laugh. I have all kinds of crazy stuff in here, and every time I clean, I find something new. It's like living in your own thrift store. Like, I've been cleaning out my closet, and I found like all my old shirts. This shirt is literally older than my child. Yeah, this is like 17 or 18 years old. No worries, we'll be here. Joy, we will be here. I've also read from former Jehovah's Witnesses who prolonged their birthday celebrations because they never got to when they were kids. So they kind of making up that I completely understand. And I am totally coming from that place of privilege where I had that like semi-normal upbringing. I played soccer, I played baseball, nothing too crazy. Didn't have so I get it. And I celebrated every birthday, every Christmas. But I learned a lesson last year because Isaiah and we go thrifting all the time. And during Christmas, he looked at me and he's like, "What don't we have?" So we were like almost stumped on what to get each other for Christmas, So this year, we're already shopping for Christmas. How you doing, Commander? All right. Yes, maybe I am the last person on earth who does not treat Halloween like it's a national holiday. I'm sorry. I hate to laugh. And there are certain people, like October is a month of self-discovery. So I'm not gonna sit here and trash people, But it's just weird to me what Halloween has turned into. Speaking of controversy, today is Indigenous People Day, and if you don't swing that way, it's also Columbus Day. Or like I like to say, exiled on Hispaniola Day. Because Columbus's story didn't end well. All right. No, I'm sorry. I'm like checking my notes. Hey, did anyone see that? And I know everyone's probably saw this a week or two ago. I can't believe I haven't brought this up yet. But Prada is developing the next spacesuits that are going to go to the moon. So whoever's going to go to the moon, they're going to look like a Prada purse. I'm kidding. But my real question is, can you make a spacesuit out of leather? Can you? That's my real question. I come from a heavy Catholic area. It will always be Columbus Day. What? Yep. Prada, they now have the contract because I hear things and I'm like, because they said Prada now has all of NASA's contracts. And I was like, what are you talking about? So I start doing my Google foo and I look around and Prada has a contract for the next manned moon mission. So anything that has to do with the Armistice 3 mission will be developed by Prada. I thought that was kind of crazy.
You're talking about the clothing, because I can't see Prada designing space capsules.
Well, no, they're dividing the spacesuit.
Yeah.
So, I have a question. Can you wear leather in outer space?
The answer is yes, but you better have a bunch of functional layers underneath that don't let the air out.
So now we're going to have an Italian designer who is designing spacesuits for NASA. It just made me laugh. It was one of those things where I'm like, wow, the internet is undefeated, because at first that could be a disaster. So that's no on my leather spacesuit, huh?
Well, eventually the leather would dry out and it would crack. That's why I said you needed something that was actually functional underneath.
When I think of Prada, I think of their purses, I think of their clothes and their overpriced jackets. When I'm feeling really froggy, I'll go to Beverly Hills and walk around. And the prices are just unreal to me. And I am bold. I walk into Gucci looking like this. I walk into the Prada store like with my boots on, all up on their carpet.
Once upon a time, there was a man named Jed. The poor mountaineer barely kept his bookie fed, and then one day he was shooting at some roof. Oh, that was actually the wrong song. But you said Beverly Hills, and I had to sing it.
It's still on TV. I watch Me TV. It's probably on right now as we're talking. I love Me TV. It reminds me of all the stuff that was on when I was a kid.
Yep, what you need to do to have ultimate happiness is be 9 years old, have a tub of a half gallon of rainbow sherbet or really any kind of ice cream, 3 a.m. sitting down watching Mr. Ed.
If I'm eating rainbow sherbet at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to be really enjoying Mr. Ed. They had some leather on other spacesuit interiors.
The outside of in the vacuum.
The outside of some older spacesuits is actually metal fabric. Space is an extremely harsh environment. It just made me laugh when I heard an Italian company. I was like, well, they specialize in leather.
Well, Saab is basically hired to make all the models that go into the cryo tunnel at NASA Langley. It used to be Microtech, and now it's Saab.
And anyone who and Honda makes everything. Honda makes everything. Tell me something that Honda does not make. And I'm still looking for a Honda sewing machine with the Honda label on it.
I can tell you that Honda makes nuclear reactors, for crying out loud.
They make I guess I read Scientific American and they advertise like we just don't make cars. And so they advertise like they make world class UAVs now, which are basically, $1 million drones. Honda it's a crazy company. Saab used to
Remember
be.
in the late 80s, it was you'll find the nicest people riding on a Honda. The little scooters.
And the funny thing is, in the dirt bike world now, it's friends don't let friends, do not let friends ride Suzuki. But I think Honda manufacturer started that. Saab used to be a great flight plane manufacturer. Oh man, I gotta take these shoes off. I'm just way too used to sitting here and sewing with my shoes off now. I have so many things to do. I haven't even decided what to do yet. Part of me really wants to make a poncho out of this just because it's so out of character. I love the look that I get when I walk in with something like that on.
Why don't you just go in there and Why don't you just use your eagle as your Halloween costume?
As my what?
Your eagle as your Halloween costume. You can have an American flag cape and
I excuse me. I have whatchamacallit. I have I have all kinds. That cape I made is strangely patriotic. My godless sewing cape. I call it my Confederate wedding dress because it's weirdly patriotic.
and it's technically against US flag code to wear an American flag.
I've always wondered why people it's the most people who claim to be the most patriotic are the ones who do not understand flag code. Like when people wear it as shorts, I was raised by a non-vet who was basically a drill instructor, so I know all the laws. And it's weird to me that people wear flags now. It's weird to me. Like I won't say the name, but back when I used to stream in the atheist community, there was this very this person had served, but they were a lame human, and they were trying to say, "Oh, your flags are wrong," but really they were trying to pick apart my background. Like my flags are all faced a certain direction, they're hung a certain way. There's etiquette to it.
Oh,
Sorry.
Alibaba, you were talking about that picture of Musk as a cat.
Oh no, my outside Odin might attack me if I have that mask on.
Oh, your cat.
My cat is so comfortable around me, and it does not like anyone else. So my cat would attack me if it didn't recognize me. But it's always the smell too. Mitsubishi made fighter planes during the 20s, and they still make tanks in Japanese military. They made the Yamato, which is a very famous ship. Unless there's patches, flags on shirts and such look like. It's really strange to me. It's really strange to me, Kilroy, to see people just draped in the American flag, not understanding the etiquette behind it. But again, I was raised by a Navy vet who, and I don't judge anyone. Oh, right. I'm thinking I'm going to add some flowers on my godless sewing vest.
I'm going to probably wind up going to bed pretty soon. I'm really tired.
No worries. No worries. I'm going to let me grab my stand real quick. You know what? I'm gonna bring my table out. Perfect. Oh, see you later, Commander. All right. Hello. I hope everyone's doing well. Now that it's just us, let's Commander, I hope you're doing well. Thank you for stopping by. I don't know what I did with my sunglasses. Oh, they're over there. So I'm thinking about making a sweatshirt, and I might as well. So we'll see how this camera angle goes. I may or may not be using a 100-year-old pattern. I'll cover it up. I'm an archaeologist. I like to dig up the past. All right, let me move my chair a little bit. This is something I have been wanting to do for a while. We'll see how it goes with all the cords in here. Oh, that's perfect. Kind of stuck back here, but that's perfect. Awesome. Commander needed to finish rendering. I hope we get to see that cat Elon. Oh, that thing definitely will live rent free in my head. All right. I'm laughing because every time I pass this pattern, I was like, you know what? One day I will buy this material. One day I will. And I did because I know myself. Oh, what am I snagged on? Okay, perfect. All right. Let me make sure there's no. I noticed in my video yesterday that when I was holding up the fabric, there was duct tape strategically in the middle. It's because I'm sorry, not duct tape. It was masking tape. They wrap it around the fabric, you know. All right. So, needless to say, I'm already kind of over Halloween because of the massive hype of it. Right now, I have my sewing machine of the week video out. I have a short out. I have quite a few lives out. So on the Godless Sewing channel, there's lots of work going on. And now that Gucci's making, not Gucci, now that thank you, Commander. Yay, Joy, welcome back. I'm only getting over Halloween by a bag of I'm the same way. Godless Industry is currently diversifying operations. Absolutely. We are going in all directions here in the house of sewing. And I can officially say wigs on my disclaimer too now. I actually watch a YouTuber who purposely, I have to turn my fan off. I actually watch a YouTuber who purposely wears a wig and he gets hate mail. Okay, let me make sure it's folded on both sides. Perfect. Because that would be a crying shame if it wasn't. So with this, I'm really falling in love with the hoodie without the hood. which is basically a sweatshirt with a giant pocket. And it made me laugh because in the college sports world, everybody's rocking it. And, myself included, and every other person's like, hey, I invented that. I did not, but I feel like I did. But it's extremely popular right now, and it made me laugh because that's my style. Make the Elon cat into a patch. I agree, Pam. I totally agree. Since he decided to ruin the artist formerly known as Twitter. I don't even know what to call Twitter anymore. I used to hang out on Twitter all the time, and I feel bad because people keep on subscribing, and I'm like, ugh, I need to post. Do you know what? Tonight I might post something because it's been so long. No, we'll give it a second. I was about to say, oh, we should post something right now, but I'm going to give it a second. All right. And quite honestly, there is nothing but opinions and drama on Twitter. My life has improved since I stopped tweeting or Xing, whatever you want to call it. But I feel bad because every morning I wake up and they're like, oh, 20 something, 30 something people subscribe to you. They're all liking my old stuff. But I'm just kind of over Twitter. Oh man, I just poked a hole to that for no reason. There we go. There we go. Wow. At least you're being productive, Godless Sewing. No production going on here. I've been dying to do something with this fabric. And I laugh, I notice certain things. Like I said, I have a damning eye. So I go back every week and I notice no one's buying this stuff. So I know he's going to give me a killer deal for it. And he was so excited when I bought all the fabric. He was literally celebrating. So why not? And this is definitely one of those obnoxious, bright, loud colors that I need in my life. Oh. Perfect. And I've decided I still have a ton of my Walmart lining. So I will be using that. I have a ton of that stuff. I could sit here and make excuses all day, but they keep on putting it on sale. Get on Mastodon. Mastodon's like the artist formerly known as Twitter, but actually fun. I will. I also have a Threads account that I've never used. Matter of fact, I was gonna post something, but then someone sent me a message, and I have not gone back to even check my Threads. But I created one just to protect the name Godless Sewing because there's a lot of weirdos out there. All right. Guess I don't have to worry about running over my cord. There's a vote for Mastodon. I definitely might go on Mastodon. I have to check this just to make sure. Okay. Perfect. Beautiful. You know what? Honestly, to each their own. I don't have a problem with Twitter, with any of it. It's just, it became a cesspool, and I felt like I was just arguing with children. And another thing, everybody's out there to fight on Twitter. And they act a certain way that they would never act to your face. Okay, so that's the front. But Twitter is definitely the place where the court of public opinion goes to live, and I I live on the outskirts and could care less. All right. Next is, I believe, the back piece, because I know these patterns in and out because I've used them so many times. Beautiful. This was definitely one of those like $25 or $30 patterns that I think I've got my money out of. Do you know, that actually makes me think, if those patterns are that expensive, how much is the book? Because Mimi G recently came out with a book, and I see all these people with it, and I'm like, how much is that? I have to look that up now. Awesome. Sewing books are expensive. That's why I buy most of mine at the Goodwill. Now I have to look at my America's Glorious quilts to see how much that costs, because I bet it's something outrageous. All right, let me check. Cool. All right, so next I'm going to do, let's see, is it the front? No, that was the front. This is the back. You know, I'm laughing because this has Scotch tape on it, because I'm ridiculous with this pattern. And I have to laugh because I've used it so many times that I've patched it. That's how you know it's a great pattern. or you just use the same pattern over and over. Awesome. Awesome. Do you know, besides I'm kind of over the whole like social media experience in general. Not like this. I love streaming. I love the relationships and the all everything that comes from streaming. I love it. But all the drama and things that came from Twitter and things like that, like, I could do without that. And there are some people who can never be satisfied. So not being on Twitter has improved my life. All right. And like I always say, like, that's not an judgment or indictment on anybody. But like, I watch a lot of Cheesemate channels, and for anyone who doesn't know what Cheesemate is, it's just gossip. And I say every 6 months, but every once in a while I have to purge what I watch, because I just get bombarded with people just talking about people for no good reason than the fact that they have nothing else better in their lives, And I'm down for a good gossip every once in a while. But when it becomes people sabotaging each other every day, it's just out of control. Perfect. All right. Social media, social media is just angry and extreme nowadays, not the good extreme either. You know, it's funny, Kelly, you would say that. I always say, like, there's the fun crazy. Like, I have a friend who I could call her at any time and be like, hey, you want to go to the fabric store? She's a bit crazy, but she's fun. I read a story today from a guy who loved working with a Mexican contractor crew, but had to quit because of the chisme. Chisme will destroy your life. Gossip. That's why we teach children not to gossip. Oh. And most of the time they're wrong and they're just saying some crazy stuff about somebody and they're completely wrong. That's why where I'm from, we always say chisme is dangerous. All right. So I gotta keep track of where I'm cutting because I'm trying to create one giant long piece. I have a crazy idea for a headband. I have a crazy idea. But we'll see. We'll see how it pans out. Well, that might be long enough. Perfect. Perfect. Cheese me on the construction site. Never. Like I said, I love a good gossip, you know, but there's a difference between like J-Lo and Ben Affleck being bad people than like ruining someone's life because you have nothing else better to talk about. All right. Do you know what's so funny? There are certain items, like when I buy fabric, I'll buy it and I'm like, oh, this is going to become something. But this particular fabric, I knew exactly what I was going to do with it. I knew exactly what I was going to do with it. Oh, right. Gonna hop in the bathtub. Be right back. Awesome, awesome. That's where I get some of my best thinking done. I try to do that, maybe to my detriment. Take a while. Takes a while sometimes. Yes, yes, I am. All my stars are going in the same direction. I'm glad you said that though, because I'm about to cut the top pocket after I cut this. I'm actually really glad that you said that. Oh, right. Perfect. Beautiful. All right. So the arms, this stuff is semi stretchy. The arms are jumping. I wasn't following if you or were not while cutting. Trust me, I would be nervous for me too. I'm all over the place. I am all over the place. I get it. All right. These arms. I'm trying not to make the arms janky, but they were stretching while I was pinning, so this is gonna be funny. Okay, perfect. Perfect. Beautiful. And that's stuck on my jacket. All right, perfect. Now all I got to do is start lining everything. This angle is actually much better than my CCTV because you can kind of see what I'm doing more. My CCTV camera is one of those cheap ones I bought off of Amazon as an impulse buy. The one that I have that's facing my sewing machine, I spent a little bit more money, but I can't tell the difference honestly after a while. The Raiders must be losing. My son was screaming his face off. Now he's all quiet. So that means, do you know, sports is a great teacher for life. In life, you back a sports team and they don't win every year. That's a great teacher. So my son's become a Raiders fan, and I think that it'll be a great teacher in life. How to accept losing all the time. Oh, perfect. Raiders just won. How's it going, Skits? Hello. I was gonna ask you, what's the Niners record? They were talking about them like they're walking on water this year. I'm not a a big foosball guy, but my son's all into football now, so I have to catch up. Maybe that's why he's all quiet. All right, beautiful. 5-0. Wow. I figured as much because they were singing their praises. It's been a while. All right. What's the weather like in Northern California? Because it was summer again today here in Southern California. It was beach weather yesterday. And today it was, why is it still hot? All right. He goes in. Oh, rain. It rained. It rained in Northern Cal. It was 92 degrees yesterday. It was 92. It was outrageously hot yesterday. All right, so we'll throw that back in there. Beautiful. All right. Oh, this is going to be awesome. Let's see. Was that the front or the back? Okay, this is the back. Good. Perfect. Beautiful. The one thing I really like about most of the stuff that I bought from downtown is some of the material that I buy, like from Walmart and stuff, when you buy it, it fades instantly. But most of this stuff I purchased from downtown is just grade A material. And it's ready to be washed and used. Beautiful. I still haven't decided if I'm going to make a hood yet. Why do you line most of your makes? It depends on what it is, but it's to give it weight, to give it structure. Depending on what it is. But it's a weird habit I've developed. And I dress like I live in a warm weather city, even though I do not. I'm sorry, in a cold weather city. It's one of those weird habits I've developed over the years of lining everything. You know, depending on the material. Perfect. Tradition it is. It it is a tradition here in the House of Sewing. That is one thing when I do something I do not deviate from it. Like losing my rotary tool. Oh man, that reminds me. Okay, so I need some major convincing. It's Prime Day, like in a couple hours. Tell me I don't need to buy a bunch of stuff that I already have. And when they say something's on sale, it's usually marked up and then they mark it down the original price anyway. But basically, they're giving a sale to all the suckers on Prime, such as myself. Oh, I should buy a serger. Oh, I should buy a serger on Prime Day if they have a serger for sale. And apparently my Joyce like laugh out. Yes, absolutely. They have Prime Day quite often. Well, this is the first time that I've actually been around for Prime Day because I really didn't care. And then they gave me that that account and it messed up every order since. And here at the Godless Sewing Channel, I whine about nothing but first world problems, but it's just funny how they mess up all the time. Perfect. Perfect. All right. So I'm going to do the arms. Yeah. Well, I'm going to line. Actually, no, I'm going to line the other part because regardless, I still have to make the pocket for the top piece. Think of what you want, then keep note of the regular pies to see it if they give a true discount. Then see if you want it. Then that's true. That's very, very, very true. I know I don't look like it, but I'm actually extremely good at math. And a lot of the times they just mark stuff up and hope that you don't realize that that was the original price in the first place. So there's certain sales that I don't participate in because they're really not giving you a discount. You have to know the original price in order to know if you're actually getting a deal or not. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So I am so trapped back here. I'm acting like I am locked behind this table. Oh, that's funny. Okay. Okay, perfect. All right. And yes, I have this weird, uncanny thing about lining everything. It's a bad habit. It is. It's something that I started doing because of the material I was working with. I didn't necessarily know how to work with it. And then when I started adding lining to everything, it gave it a certain stiffness that I could work with it. And now it's just become habit. All right. Enjoy it, crickets, because winter's coming. It's weird to me that the crickets are still around this time of year. Usually the crickets are long gone by now. So the fact that they're still chirping lets me know that it is unseasonably warm. All right. Beautiful. All right, I'm gonna pin this and then I'm gonna take a break for a second. We'll have a chat. Since no one's hopping in today, might as well talk. Let me throw this on. Perfect. Oh. It's amazing how much of a mess you make just with that little bit of sewing I was doing and cutting. I made a huge mess in this room. I have a really crazy idea for a headband. Oh. It's been a while since we've heard from Mark Short. Mark, if you're out there, I hope you're doing well. And if not, we will always be here for you. It's really sad when someone says, I have stage 4 cancer, then you never hear from them again. The gang is not all here. Absolutely. It's okay. It's okay. I really like your advice for that though, because I am a bit of a math wizard, and they go after you. Lots of absolutely with the whole Mark thing. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's actually really, really sad, you know, because you meet people and then they show you how unimportant certain things in life are, like all the pretentious things that I take for granted. And then someone says, "Hey, I have stage 4 cancer. I won't be around in a week or two." It puts things in perspective, you know. At least for myself, it has. It has really checked me. But hey, can't win them all. But I will drink coffee in peace for Mark and everybody else who is suffering. Oh. How's it going, dude? All right. So let's see. Today, today in 1888, the Washington Monument was opened for visitors. So the Washington Monument has been open that long. Everyone's saying hello to you. Yes, a few of the channels I used to go to had cancer, like melanin. Damn. Oh, that's awful. That's awful, Joy. That's absolutely awful. Oh man. All right. So I had a great time rearranging the sewing room because I discovered everything that was missing in this room. And it reminded me that I have a lot of the stuff that I go looking for a lot of the time. It's amazing when you hoard sewing supplies and you're like, I need this or I need that. And you go buy one and you realize I have 2 or 3 of those already. It's too many fighting that damn cancer. Yes, there's way too many people fighting it. And it's just insane. It's just insane. In Mark's country, though, they helped him out immediately. Here, they would literally tell you, best luck, good luck. Mom and Pop Quilts, she had cancer and beat it, but it was close. Wow. The whole Mark Short thing just really has put YouTubing in perspective for me, because there's a lot of petty infighting and a lot of backstage stuff that was never important in the first place. And when someone gets sick like that, it reminds you of why we're here in the first place, or why we say we build community. I agree with you, Joy. I agree with you. Damn cyberbullying channel. Yeah, there's way too many of them. Typos. I understand. Are you kidding me? I'm a 2-finger typer, so I am like nothing but mistakes. My left and my right thumb have different conversations sometimes, depending on what I'm doing at the time. They hurtful, but why? Well, you have to really think about it. Like, some people thrive off of chaos. They thrive off of drama and hatred because they sit around and think about it. It's pathological. That is literally who they are. Uh, that's why I constantly say that I live in my own little world, because sometimes I look at people like that and I'm like, how did you get there? We all have our wants and needs. We all have our little quirks in life. But to the point where you can judge someone, where you're treating them differently based on your judgment, is strange to me. But, I'm from the liberal I'm from hippie land. And I didn't get on YouTube until a little bit later in life, as far as like the modern person. I was in my late 30s, early 40s when I got on YouTube. So I have a different perspective. Alibaba, I have a question for you if you're still there. So the Touchtronic was sold as the first computerized sewing machine, but I don't know if it Quantum XL 1000 is its own brand, or is that a series of sewing machines that Singer was selling? Because I found this one website that was like, oh, point of contention, and they were basically saying that it's not. But in America, we claim to be first everything. I know that came out wrong, but it's kind of true. I agree with you, Joy. That's why I try to I do not talk about drama on my channel. I try not to even bring drama back to my channel anymore, because it's pointless. People waste their lives being mad at people they'll never meet or they don't know. But I've been rearranging my sewing room and I have a ton of room. A week ago, I would not be able to stand back there. And cut and so the funny thing is, I made all of this room and I'm like, should I bring another sewing table in here? Because I have another sewing table. It's my roaming sewing table, but it'll stay where it is for now. I had an Athena. Oh, that's awesome. I really want to let me move my notes. Part of me really wants to put this in a case. Oh, I'm sorry, in a table, because they look very like futuristic in a table. Every single table that I've seen one of these things and it looks beautiful. But maybe I'm just a dreamer. Maybe I'm just one of those people who, I look at that and I'm like, oh, that's awesome. I think in 2001 is the first circuit board and drive for the shuttle, all electric controlled. The Quantum isn't all that. Oh, wow. I find message boards and people were getting in these heated arguments, and I'm like, oh, and I thought it was a couple months ago. I was probably an hour behind the argument. Might be cool to have a drop leaf table. Absolutely. I was thinking about even that white table I picked up off the street. I could manufacture it to where this fits in perfectly in there. Because the past couple of days I've been looking these up and they're popping all up in my cell phone. And so now I'm seeing every table, and most of these were come with a table. Actually, there's quite a few sewing machines, Singer sewing machines in this room where, it has a table number and the next to the serial number of the sewing machine. Really, 1880 was an exhibition. Yes, you could. I was thinking about that. I definitely need a new project. I need something in that realm. Oh, Baba, you are so right. So I saw a picture and I was like, oh, it had a ton of stuff. There it goes. StreamYard's it lags way behind. The 2001 table has so much workroom. I saw that. I was like, oh, I definitely need that table. I need that in my life. And with all the rearranging I've been doing in here, I now have a strange amount of room in here to add more tables. Ollie, is your occupation one of those deal? I cannot see. Is your occupation one of those deals with machines? Now I just have the touch and sew song stuck in my head. I'll get back to cutting and sewing in a minute. I can't believe this machine came back to life. You know what the funny thing is? The one thing I'm not talking about, this sewing machine actually has something that is my arch nemesis, something that I absolutely think are quite pointless. Tell you the honest truth, I think they're pointless. And we battle. It's a self-winding bobbin. And this came without the cord, without the bobbin or anything. But I have tons of, I have singer pieces all throughout the years. And it made me laugh because of all the times I've dealt with self-winding bobbins. This one's still kind of decent because it's working. You saw me sew a zipper on it in my video. It's working. And that's basically, I have not had too much success with self-winding bobbins. That was the one big failure of like the touch and sew, is that the self-winding bobbin would give out a lot of the time. Even on one of my videos, I wound the self-winding bobbin and it literally I need to figure out which video that was, because it broke on while I was filming it, and it was awesome. I put it in. Just a few ideas I'm trying to run past everybody. What I should or should not do. But this is awesome. And this the Touchtronic, it has to be in a, it's made, the base is the same size, but it has to be in a certain type of sewing table. Let me see if I can pull the drawer out. The drawer was kind of stuck in there. There's a drawer that is not going to come out. That's okay. I'll mess around with that another day. Wound too much and broke. Do you know, I had no idea what I was doing. It was actually extremely funny, but I think I did. But nevertheless, I probably have like 14 or 15 touch and sews. So I have quite a few self-winding bobbins. I really cleaned this up last night. This was caked with like, old sticker marks and stuff. So I just came with rubbing alcohol and took all the stick marks off. This had the price on it. It drives me crazy when people write the price on sewing machines with permanent marker. Stop it. But nevertheless, I purchased this machine. But whoever had it before, I'm trying to remember. I need to go back and watch the original video and see who I purchased this from. But they wrote on it in permanent marker. And it took me a minute to rub off the permanent marker. But just rubbing alcohol and elbow grease really, really works. And even last night when I was finally cleaning this thing up and giving it a good once over, I was really surprised on how just like with rubbing alcohol and hot water, it really took most of the muck off of this thing. Thank you. It was definitely one of those things where last week I was talking about sewing machine of the week. Oh, sewing machine of the week. Well, I'm one of those people, I don't like to just talk about things. So, excuse me. I had a request from somebody who asked me to bust out my Elna grasshopper, but my grasshopper is a bit of a mess and it needs a lot of work. So the video is probably going to be me working on my grasshopper just to get it up to speed. There's something definitely wrong with it. It might even be the cord itself, but it just doesn't have enough power. But my mini Elna had the same problem, so I'm thinking it's more of an Elna problem, and probably someone put way, way too much oil, excuse me, on the grasshopper. And so what happens is over the years, the gunk builds up, and it literally slows the machine down. So now I have to decide what I'm going to do with that, because part of me just wants to sell it because people love the grasshopper. People absolutely love those machines, But my grasshopper is giving me drama. Oh, cool. Unfixing episode. I'm definitely going to start doing that. And someone suggested last night that I should start with that Elna, and I was like, well, it's broken, but that's part of the process too. So I'll have that and something that works. So we might have two. Sewing machines of the week. Welcome back. Welcome back. So I'm deciding. But I don't want to show a broken sewing machine as my sewing machine of the week, because there's for every sewing machine that works in here. Actually, no, because most of them do work, but there's quite a few that do not and need help, Like my brother's sewing machine, I thought I fixed that thing at least 4 or 5 times. It sews backwards. No matter what I do to it, it just sews backwards and backwards. Godless Repairs LLC, a division of Godless Industries. I have been super busy online lately. It's because I do not sleep at night, so I magically have all this time on my hands. Absolutely, absolutely. All right, break's almost over. We'll get back to cutting and shaping. Because of the colors, I might go full hippie and not add a hood. But I say that, and then I'm going to show up on Wednesday with a hood on it. And for anyone who's wondering, these machines are boat anchors. They're so heavy. This thing is so heavy, it's like a boat anchor. This is actually heavier than my antique white because I've been curling that thing like a dumbbell, and this thing is 10 times heavier than that. Awesome. All right, let's get back to work. Perfect. I'm definitely gonna make a cape with that purple material I have. I just need to shape it and just do it. Shape fabric haul. I'm laughing at my notes because I write hilarious things to myself. All right. All right. So let's start penning. Let me move my chair a little bit. All right. Of course, I brought all of my supplies on the other side. All right. One of the reasons I decided to adopt color in my life is because I am definitely one of those people that is like bereft of color. Let me move my camera a little bit. Whoops. People almost do not recognize me when I wear my sweatshirts and stuff when they see me out and about, because they're so used to me wearing black and denim every day. I thought you make an apron to carry your sewing supplies so that you can so you won't misplace the tools. That was the original idea. Now it's this really cool thing. I need to bring it back out. You are right about that though, and I need to start wearing it all the time. It'll be a part of my Mr. Sewing's neighborhood clothes. Now I just have "It's a Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood" stuck in my head. But that's not a bad idea. I do need to rescue my apron. The one cool thing about having all this space is that I have places where I could put things, but I end up forgetting about them. Me too. I misplace everything. And then I'm like, oh, I have all this space. And then I end up just finding more space to lose stuff. Oh, right. Man, the crickets are really chirping tonight because they know they shouldn't be here. Oh, wow. Oh, right. Perfect. I definitely needed that break. All right. So far, my new rotary tool has gone what, like 2 weeks, a week? It feels like 2 weeks, but it's probably been less than 2 weeks. Perfect. This camera is much crispier than my CCTV camera. I'll tell you that. Perfect. All right. I have to be careful. I move my hand like way far away because I almost took my finger off live on YouTube a while ago. And that is not the kind of video I want to go viral for. Has anyone out there had a close call with rotary tools? Because I work with power to I was about to say power tools, I really pay close attention, but every once in a while I'm like, oh, I almost took my finger off. Yeah. It's good to know, Joy. Hey, Sydney. Hey, welcome back. Good to know, Joy. I don't feel alone. All right. While I'm here, let's make a pocket for this guy. This is definitely the front. Okay. So the material is underneath me. There we go. Okay. Yay, welcome back, Sydney. Got 1 inch cut that needed stitches. I just touched it and learned to put it when not in use. Yikes. Yikes. I'll spare you the hardcore details, but when I was in my college age, I worked at a place called First Street Deli across the street from Arizona State University, and I cut my finger with a slicer, and I still have that scar to this very day. And if I do this, you can see that I'm missing a piece of my finger here. So I completely understand. Oh, right. Now I'm like debating on how big of a pocket I want. Okay. I just have a like huge spider web of material here. Tetanus shot. I'm up on my tetanus shot. Okay, I have to make sure the stars are going in the same direction before I start any of this madness. And the stripes too. Okay, it's this way. No, it's this way. Yeah, okay, perfect. I've had so many close calls with so many different cutting tools over the years. Good thing I don't tend to work with white fabric. Hubby got his baby fingers stuck in the gears of a printing machine. Oh, that's awful. Welcome back, Alibaba. Welcome back. Do you know what's so funny? I made all this room to bring in my 6-foot table, and I did not bring in my 6-foot table. I'm thinking about moving my my standard sewing machine. Oh, yikes. Where's my remote? My TV's telling me that there's an epic game on right now. It's not fun sewing with your finger and getting the machine needle stuck through the nail. Okay, I've actually I've done that. I've not completely pierced, but I've done that. It is the worst. Even without the needle in it, I've had a sewing machine slam down on my finger. It is absolutely the worst. There. Oh, you're reminding me. Oh, wow. Okay. So I have that on. That is the worst. Sewing accidents. It goes from, oh, this is the greatest hobby on earth to something hardcore really quick. Okay, what side? Since I'm all over the place. Here we go. Okay. needs to be. It needs to be on this side. All right. You know what? For some reason, I cannot line up my stars this evening. All right, we'll try that one more time. That's perfect. Okay. For anyone wondering, I'm looking at that, trying to line this up, and I just keep on flipping the material. Really is what it is. Okay. So, oh man, that was way uneven. But we're going for the massive, not too massive pocket. All right, that's perfect. Now I'm going to shape my pocket and then line it. I'm going to try to find something a little bit more stiff, but all my scraps are covered right now because I've been cleaning. So we'll see what I have, but I'm probably just going to use the same material now that I'm thinking about it. Perfect. Let me grab my phone real quick. I know that struggle. I spent a lot of time on lining patterns up. Oh, it drives me insane because, sometimes I do not pay attention and I get lucky. And other times I'm like, why did I do that? There are certain projects I can get away with that on. Like there's certain ones I look at and I'm like, oh man, why did I do that? Why did I not line up my patterns? I do it often. Perfect. And we're gonna do that over here. Oh, don't bunch up on me. Perfect. I say perfect even when it's not. Okay. The math is always your friend. Oh, it always looks off for some reason. Is it my eyeball? Is it me? It always. Oh, that's funny. Did I cut it? No. It's even though it looks off. I think it's the cut of the stripes. Oh. Gotta depend on the math, right? Okay. So first things first, let's find something to line this with. Oh, let's see if this is big enough. No. Okay. All right, so let's see if any of this. We're gonna go super stiff. If I have a big enough piece. This pocket's gonna weigh more than the coat. But here in the House of Sewing, if there's anything we are with clothes, it's extremely dramatic. We're dramatic with clothes, not the YouTube channel. All right. Well, both sometimes. Perfect. Seems like a general sort of direction. All right. It's funny the intricacies that you go through just to make something like this. That's why I try to show people the process of making clothes, because it's not necessarily the easiest thing, even when you know what you're doing. And then there's always the million choices that you have to make along the way. Awesome. Awesome. Oh, and by the way, if Pam, if you're still there, congratulations on your 1,000 subscribers. I recently saw that, and that's awesome. You definitely deserve that. All right. This pocket officially will not be going anywhere. Denim pockets are awesome. Well, denim lined pockets. Perfect. Beautiful. Back in the day, I worked with a much more stiff material. It was like canvas almost. So when I would line things, like everything I lined would be completely stiff like this. So I got used to working with this material. Well, anything that was like this material. All right. I love you, buddy. Perfect. All right. So we have one giant pocket. We're going to line the sides and then be done with this for a second. I think the material's on the other side. Oh, no worries, Pam. I didn't see you. I saw it and I thought it was awesome. You absolutely deserve it. And I loved it when you said last night, you're like, there's 1,000 people that want to listen to me talk. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's the beautiful thing about YouTube. That is a lot of people. But that's the beautiful thing about YouTube, you know? A long time ago, someone told me it's better to be niche than to like just be like everybody else. And it's true. Because you develop more genuine relationships with people who actually do the same thing that you do and speak the same language per se that you do. Okay, so as you can see, this stuff is stretchy. Oops. All right, deciding on what I want to line this with is going to take a second. I did cut this all as one piece because I'm going to make a giant headband. But I think I have more than enough space for it. Good gravy. All right, I'm going to cut this piece. I finally decided to put my scissors in a place where I could find them, and wow, magically I need them and I could find them. Awesome. All right, so yay, Sydney. Awesome. Okay, so let me measure this out a little bit. I only seem disorganized. Awesome. So here I'm just creating edges for this. I'm going to do it on both sides. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so I can just cut it in half. Perfect. And now I'm just going to split the difference, as they say. Beautiful. Like I said, with everything that's been going on lately, like I am the not drama channel or raging, screaming politics. I'm about sewing, and sewing brings peace to my life. And I feel like if more people had constructive hobbies, it would bring peace to theirs as well. All right, beautiful. Actually, I should bring it out a little bit more. I have a ton of edge here. I'm just being cautious. Actually, that might be too much. I need to get back into streaming, even if it's just for a half an hour. Absolutely. But if you do, just give warning, because some people, they don't find your stream until it's like a half an hour in, you know? Well, you know, you're more of a pro than I am. What am I saying? Okay, let me take that. Perfect. So now I'm just going to start lining this up to where it matches everything here, and then pin it and forget about it. That would be awesome. That would be joy. I can always mail you my dryer. I'm kidding. My dryer, it does need to be taken apart and fixed, though. It's getting to that point. But I'm gonna take the face off and defluff it. I think that's the problem. It's just normal wear and tear. All right. Perfect. Whoa! Oh, hello. Well, I've been here by myself for so long, you know. Let me pour on the Catholic guilt a little bit more. Why, hello.
Hello. Catholic guilt won't work today. I was dutifully helping my mother.
Oh man, this thing is just not wanting to. Oh, okay. I'm gonna take a seat. It is just nothing but fabric in this room. How are you today?
Oh, I'm okay. I was unsuccessful in my attempts to assist my mother, but
It's okay. You tried.
I did. She has a new company that she's representing, and so they sent her email and everything to sign up, only it was not working. So hello Pam, hello Allie, hello Joy, thank you.
Yay! Do you know what's really funny? You had to say that. My mom, they have board meetings online. Every board meeting, I have to go to my mom's house and set up her computer,
Oh no.
and then go in another room and be a part of it. And if she has any mistake, people see me run out of the room and go run into the other room and help her, and then run back into the other room and try to act like nothing happened.
That's great.
Oh man, that's how I know the acoustics of having two computers in the same house. You have to close the door. I'm thinking about doing something crazy,
Ooh.
which is pretty on brand around here. I'm gonna make a super long Jimi Hendrix, Steven Tyler style scarf.
Okay.
Because I've been. Let's be real. This was gonna be a poncho. Like, I've been eyeing this material for a while. Every time I go to the store on 8th Street, every time it's in front.
Mm-hmm. And so how did we get from poncho to scarf?
They were both there. I just found them. They were both there. They were discovered. Oh man.
Nice to see everybody tonight.
Oh, and Pam reached 1,000 subs. So we want to. I said it earlier, but now that you're here, we'll give it another clap. I think that's
Congratulations.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal.
Yeah. Oh, you're always so sweet, Joy. Thank you.
Trust me, when I hit 500, I'm gonna do a thank you Mimi G party. Because that pattern and every sewing machine in this room is what brought me here. Oh. So today, although today is Day of Controversy, it's Columbus Day and Happy Indigenous People Day. I said that already. Today is also Ugandan Independence Day.
Oh, okay.
Which I thought
well
was
done, Uganda.
No, please. And it's also National Native American Day. And it's also Leif Erikson Day as well.
All
That's
right.
that look on your face is my exact. I said, okay. I said the exact same sentence when I read it.
I mean, in the U.S. we celebrate.
These are, if it says international, that's worldwide. If it's national, it's in America.
Okay.
Because it's the people who run the website it's American exceptionalism. Let's be real. Hendrik X sounds great. I'm a fan of all styles. He found Newfoundland.
Lies. The Vikings were never in the Americas.
Don't tell that to those guys in Minnesota who are like punching themselves in the snow. I've seen the weirdest videos where I'm like, you're just used to the cold. Just because you're from a cold weather city, like, doesn't necessarily make you a Viking. It's okay, It's okay.
They can't fool us. We know they're from Greece.
I just thought it was really funny because wrapped around Columbus Day are all of these like curious events days, but it goes back to being an explorer. Let's see.
I mean, the exploring part was great. It was what he did when he got there that was a problem.
And today is also National Moldy Cheese Day.
Okay. Great for blue cheese lovers everywhere.
I've actually had a Gouda cheesecake. It smelled awful and tasted good.
Why don't two things. One, I don't think that's a moldy cheese. And two, I learned relatively recently that it's actually pronounced Howda, and Americans say it wrong. Did you know that?
This is why I called you professor earlier.
I'm
I've been
sharing what I
sitting I've been sitting in the front row trying to keep the class entertained.
learned.
I just work here. I don't know what goes on backstage. I can't say I'm a fan of moldy cheese. I'm weird where I like I eat this stuff called queso seco, which in English just means dry cheese, but it has a certain smell to it, and not too many people like it. And I have yet to meet anybody who's not from El Salvador or Mexico, or just is not an understanding human that does not hate my cheese. Every roommate I've ever had in the past 20 years has been like, "You really eat that stuff? You are from LA. How do you even know that exists? How do you even know that exists?" I knew that one day I went to that town as they told me. Wow.
Mm.
But you know what though? How many things, like in English, how many things do we think we either invented or do we say wrong? You know?
Yeah, I think that's kind of the problem. If sometimes words get changed so much into the local accent that if you say them correctly, you're, unintelligible or pretentious.
Like, okay. Southern Californian, would you consider it like a hodgepodge of every language that's come around, or do we just speak a specific way? Like where I'm from, people do, but we're a reflection of each other. So
Mhm.
I don't think it's. I'm just trying to say it's not necessarily something that's inherent. You reflect the people that you're around.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah.
it was weird to me when I got online and people would tell me, "Oh, you have an accent," and I'm like, "Well, not around the people I'm around." Everyone
Well,
around. Sorry, go ahead.
I mean, Southern California is pretty close to standard American, so we don't have much of an accent.
So I figured. Well, like up north in Oregon, they still say pop. They still, some people say soda. It's people of a certain age. But if you were to ask someone under 25 from this area, can you get me a pop? They would be like, that's illegal to touch people. So the dialect all depends on where you're from,
That's true. Have you tried any of those things where they say, oh, tell us how you pronounce this word and we'll tell you where you're from, kind of thing?
No, but I would. I'm into a lot of different stuff. I watch a lot of stuff on YouTube, and I pronounce the word dysphoria. What's it called? Diaspora? Dysphoria.
Well, they're two separate words.
But there's somebody called it I said African Dysphoria Project, and someone corrected me.
Oh, that would be diaspora.
But it was spelled dysphoria.
No. DIASPOREA, I think. Spelling's not my forte. Thank God for autocorrect. Well,
Oh yes,
not auto incorrect, but the dictionary.
It's time for sleep. Have a great night.
Oh.
Have a great night, Pam. I'll be back at it on Wednesday. Nice and prompt, unlike other people. I'm kidding. I'll be back at it on Wednesday. And I'll have a finished sweatshirt.
Very nice.
I've been going off with my videos lately.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have to adjust the air. I'm roasting. I'm beyond dewy.
It's hot today. Have a great night, Pam. That's why when I get quiet when I'm streaming by myself is because I'm trying to stay focused because I am a talker and I could go off on tangents. I know.
Oh, you like my sweatshirt, my shirt?
I love it.
From the featherweight jump.
I love it. And don't jump out, but you're choppy.
I'm gonna jump. I'm gonna.
I knew
jump
you
and
were.
come back. It makes it better. It's like
Go
it
right
has
ahead.
to get its ducks in a row or something. I don't know.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Is that better? Am I smooth?
100%.
All
It
right.
sneaks up on you though. Oh, my hoop for my brother PE 535 is now coming on Friday apparently.
Ooh, exciting, exciting. What are you gonna
The
make?
the days are changing. Waiting a month and a half or something is I might as well have like mailed them a letter. Max Waterney headroom. I love it.
I used
It
to
was
like that
giving.
show back in the day.
Do you know what's really funny? I didn't realize the power of nostalgia until I got on YouTube and started watching a lot of stuff from back in the day. I miss Max Headroom. I miss ET. Like some of that stuff never got old to me. You know what I'm saying? Like when I watch Star Trek: The Next Generation, it still looks like the future to me. There's still somewhere out there in outer space in the future, even though I know it's late 80s and early 90s.
I saw a video. Oh, I meant to send it to you. It was famous guest stars from Miami Vice.
Awesome.
Oh my word. So many people on there. Ben Stiller played this young Lothario. Helena Bonham Carter was on there looking all sweet and she's like, I'm a junkie.
MacGyver is the same way. Everybody's on there. And you see Cuba Gooding Jr. is on quite a few episodes and he's young. He's like if he's not 19, he's like 20, you know, like he's young. Because he's standing next to grown men and he's all skinny and I'm like, wow, matter of fact, Alexa, how old is Cuba Gooding Jr.?
Cuba Gooding Jr. is 55 years old.
Yeah, that means he was young. Him and Damon Wayans were in MacGyver. They were young. But the Wayans brothers were always involved in Hollywood. Like they were involved with Robert Townsend. When I was a kid, I told you like I would go looking for movies with people of color in it. Like I loved Disorderlies with the Fat Boys. That is my movie, you know. And there were many movies like that from that era. And now I just have the Fat Boy stuck in my head.
I never saw that one. I missed out on a lot of stuff.
It's a hokey movie. It's a hokey, like stereotypical 80s movie, but it's nothing but pure nostalgia for me. Fun fact.
Roy.
The Washington Monument was supposed to have a building around it, but it got scrapped because it was too expensive. So now it looks like a stupid hole in the ground. So, I know you weren't here earlier, but today, in 1888, the Washington Monument was opened for guests.
Oh, that long ago.
Because when I'm doing research for stuff, I also look in, I've learned to type in, what happened in today's history.
Yeah.
And it's usually nothing like too exciting. Because, there are those days that live the infamous days and you're like, oh, crud, I should have known this, Like even today, I was like, oh, it's Columbus Day. Like I should have known that, but like it's so far from anything I care about that like I'm like, oh yeah. And technically where we live, it is no longer Columbus Day. It is Indigenous Peoples Day.
True.
And hockey is like right now on the hockey channel. I'm like flipping between hockey, baseball, and football, but hockey is no joke. Like all week they're like, no, it's Indigenous Peoples Day. Like all week they've been letting people know. Like 20 years.
I didn't know.
You know, it's so funny. It was like 2:30 in the morning. I was reading up on the Washington Monument last night. I am that commercial of like at 9:45, I'm like, I should go to bed. 3:30, I'm like with my nose literally in an atlas. Like, I wonder where Menka in Africa is. I know where it is. That's why I brought it up. I'm hungry too, Sydney.
I'm having some curry.
One day.
Yet.
What? Sorry. One day I'm gonna break the fourth wall and take everyone in my kitchen. I don't want you to yell at me though for the amount of sodas I drink.
We've already done that.
The top row of my fridge is like embarrassed. It looks like an emancipated 13-year-old. It looks like a fridge of an emancipated 13-year-old.
Well, since you brought it up, I will gently say it would probably be good for you to not drink so much of it.
I offset it with water. I'm so sorry, Sydney.
Oh, yeah. We'll definitely eat because, hungry doesn't help one's mental wellness
At all. As someone who does not sleep, if I do not eat regularly, I fall deep into a depression because I don't sleep. I do too. I hate it as well, Joy. That's why I embark on these overambitious projects and dive knee deep into them. But I'm really glad I busted out this material. I am. I wear so much black in my life and angry patches and I need some rainbow color material in my life.
Why not? If that's what makes you happy, then you do
it. Eat and drink water. We are like houseplants. I drink an insane amount of water every day. Not like, the non-recommended amount, but I drink the recommended amount. You'd be surprised of how much water we're supposed to drink every day.
Yeah. A lot of people don't get enough. Oh, look, I've got my glass right here.
I knew somebody who used to walk around with a milk jug. That was ridiculous, but they would mark like this is the proper amount. Let's see. Oh, it's also International Beer and Pizza Day. But I'll take the pizza. I do not drink. Again, International Day for Cultural Rights. Anything around today is always surrounded with something for cultural rights or something, That's the one thing about this day. I wonder when it was. Would you say like within the past 10 years is when it became Indigenous Peoples Day?
I know there have been complaints about it for a while, but I think it was relatively recently that somebody actually did something official about it.
I watched some of the opening of the Munich Oktoberfest. Awesome.
That sounds fun.
I knew somebody who went there and did not realize that they serve beer with everything. And like they had in the hotel, they had this complimentary fountain and they go up to it and it was beer.
Oh my goodness.
And they were like, this place is heaven for drunks. I used to bring a milk jug of water to work. People thought I was drinking a gallon of milk a day and was built like a bull. I would love to go to Oktoberfest. It's no joke. Like there was beer everywhere and he took pictures. So he's like, I thought this was water, but it was literally beer, man. And then he's like, I went over here and this was beer. Like they do not play. They do not play.
I've never found a beer that I actually like.
You know, it's really funny you'd say that. I actually liked the taste when I was younger. I loved the taste. But then I graduated to other things as the years went on. I lived in Germany. They do not play, absolutely.
Do you Do you have a palate for beer, Alibaba? I mean, I know they don't all taste the same, but I've yet to find one that the beerness of it wasn't overwhelming.
When I was a kid, I loved Lowenbrow. There was this brand called Rolling Rock. It tastes like gummy bears. Oh, St. Pauli girls. Tastes like gummy bears, kind of.
I've had Rolling Rock. Not very much of it. I mean, I suppose if someone said you must drink a beer, I'm
It's a
sure
lighter-
foreigners would say it doesn't really have any beer going on, but I never would have said that it tasted like gummy bears.
I had a friend come down from Hamburg, Germany, and he laughed at our alcohol. My friend Max, what did I do?
You did this.
Oh, I
Maybe
forgot
that makes it look like you're holding a balloon.
Oh, hold on. Maybe I'm not
That one is-
smiling. I certainly do. I like certain Indian pale ales.
Try this one again. Or maybe it's got to be like by your head. So hold it there for a bit. See if that.
Oh,
No,
the thumb popped up.
I'm giving you the thumb.
Oh, it's not
India
working.
Pale Ales. See, like conceptually, I like the idea of, pairing your drink with your food. That makes total sense to me. So I know like different kinds of beer go better with different foods.
I started on red wine. I don't like beer. I was on the Corona racing team for a while because it was sponsored.
Oh,
You're not gonna. My very, very rich father would buy large amounts. That's what I was saying when I was sponsored. He would literally buy cases back in the day. Oh, it's not working.
is it, or does it have to be closer to you?
I guess it's far away. Anything goes with red if you like. Why not? Quote of the evening. All right, let's try that again. Oh, it's going off around the eagle. Look, it's leaving the eagle in there. I don't know where this came from or why you're here, but you're welcome. I still want to figure out how I get those balloons going. It's when I do this on the table.
I have smudges on my contacts. It's making it really hard to see.
Do you know it was so hot today, and I know no one feels sorry for me that when I was wearing my glasses, my eyelashes were going up against my glasses. And they were streaking my glasses because I was sweating. Now I just have red wine stuck in my head.
I believe the line is goes through my head.
Red wine. That's why you're the professor. Stay close to me. That is I love that song. There are certain songs where people are like, what era is this guy stuck in? It's actually a really predictable one.
Music, songs of childhood.
I got hooked on table wines when I was in Germany. Still love them. Had some, have some for our Canadian Thanksgiving supper. Awesome.
Nice.
That reminds me. So every year, I got tired of turkey years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And when Isaiah was a little guy, he wanted the tradition. So one year, we stuffed a chicken. He didn't know the difference, and now every year I stuff a chicken. I get a big chicken. It's not the little tiny. I get the biggest chicken I can find,
Mm-hmm.
But I stuff a chicken now every year.
Well, turkeys are too big.
And that's another thing. Like I used to sit down with half of my family. I'd have 15, 20 people in my house. It's just my mother, my son, and I.
Yeah.
And on certain years, it's literally just like sometimes it's just Isaiah and I, Or some years he goes to his mom's house and it's me sitting here, by
Oh goodness.
myself.
Mm.
You're just a little kid playing with your balloons. I'm trying to figure out how that thing goes off. What do I do? I got.
feel like it's got to be something like this, or I don't know, like because it's when you're doing this kind of thing here that it.
I'm such a hand guy, though. I'm a mime with talking. I'm a wristy guy. Like I do this when I talk. I even do the 90s politician. I try not to point though, because that's still rude. I don't know who needs to hear that. I do, like online you can point, but that's rude to do in person. That's just rude. I'm old school though. I was raised, old school.
Are you talking about pointing, or are you talking about like finger guns?
Finger guns are totally on the table. We can work with finger guns are funny. If you're doing this, like I'm going to tell you, I don't work for you. And I'm going to walk away.
You've got words for Uncle Sam and his ill-mannered hand gestures.
Oh, but see, that was from a different time. I don't know. Maybe I just have weird etiquette. No such thing as too much meat. No such thing. You would have loved my dinner. I had spaghetti with meatballs and chicken. Because I couldn't. I was feeling both.
All right.
So Isaiah was like, "I'm gonna make it's like I'm gonna make spaghetti." I said, "Okay." When I started making chicken, he's like, "I want some chicken too." I was like, "It's a killer combo." It's just poor man's chicken primavera, wherever it's called. You only get to the point when you do your Uncle Sam impression. Maybe, you know what though? I'm going to tell you flat out, etiquette has disappeared in this world. I talk about it often. I even though my clothes are not, I'm an extremely polite person. I was raised by mean Catholic nuns and my parents who were worse. And so I still have it drilled into me, say please and thank you. I say excuse me when I walk past everybody. I do. Like if I am in if we're in the store and I walk past you, even for 2 seconds, excuse me, or if I walk behind you, oh, excuse me, I feel like etiquette has disappeared in this world. Am I wrong? Am I being too Seinfeldish? Like too judgmental?
I mean, I think that we've gotten a lot more casual, but I think as a result too, sometimes people kind of don't know how to manner out of a situation when required.
Okay. But do you feel that because sometimes I feel like not everybody had rigid upbringing such as myself. So I try to have consideration for that because we are socially awkward. And I'm not blaming the internet, but we have become socially awkward. I noticed because I'm like, like I said, I didn't get on my computer until I was later in life. And so people do not know how to act anymore. Do you think that's an etiquette thing, or is that just the way society is now?
Well, that was what etiquette was always kind of supposed to be. It was supposed to teach you how to act so that you knew what to do in situations, but also so that you knew how to interact with people and how to make other people comfortable. And so we don't really have a lot of etiquette. And I think that a lot of people just aren't taught how to interact with people. I think
some people say it's generational, but I see people of all ages not knowing how to act, and it's usually the older people who are a little bit more awkward sometimes. And when I say older, I mean 40 to 60, because that's my age range right now. And so I see people and I'm like, you're from the same generation I am, guy. Like we used to have decorum, I don't know, maybe people are just more polite where I'm from. I don't know.
Well,
Hold doors open for.
I mean, I do feel like a lot of people are maybe feeling stuck in the middle because with the older generation, there was one set of rules. And then with the younger generation, there's a whole other set. And I think maybe, it's one thing if you're young and you don't know how to interact with the old people, people kind of perhaps make allowances for that, or young people expect old people to act a certain way. But I think maybe the ones in the middle are kind of stuck because they don't really know what to do with either generation.
I agree. And also it's regional too. That bless your heart stuff in the South is real. I had never seen so many nice people in my life as from the time I crossed over the Delta in Mississippi until I got to Savannah. I'm like, everybody says please and thank you and excuse me and yes sir and no ma'am and everybody, because I do bash the South, I do, but when I went there, they were the most polite people on planet Earth, and some of the best cooking also.
Alibaba is taking off. It was good to see you, Alibaba. I'm sorry I couldn't visit with you longer.
Have a great night. Thank you so much, Alibaba. Your knowledge is always needed here in the House of Sewing. Thank you. But again,
maybe Pam will wake up from a nap and come back again for more.
But maybe it's me, Sometimes they say maybe it's me.
I don't know. I mean, I do think that whether you want to call it manners or something else, I think that there is a lot of social awkwardness, and that people are struggling with interactions with other people.
I agree. I try to have that into consideration because I, again, come from a really rigid background, and I know not everybody was raised like a Spartan like I was, and so I don't expect people to adhere to the same weird rules that I have,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's so funny. Meanwhile, here in PA, many people think sir and ma'am are insults, like you're calling them old fogies. That is true. So if you get ma'amed, are you like...
Depends on who's mamming me.
I told you I got sirred by a bunch of bikers and I'm like, oh, I'm old. I literally was like, oh, I'm old. They were like, sir, excuse me, sir. Nice to meet you. Like, that's why I cut my beard off. Because I was showing way too much gray. I was like the elder.
If I'm being ma'amed by young people, shall we say, new adults or teens or whatever, then it's like, oh, yeah, I no longer pass for one of you. That makes me feel old. But
true.
Other than that, I don't mind.
That is true. Like, I still get carded for everything, and I'm like, oh, thank you. You're nearsighted here. You're gonna freak out when you see that we're around the same age. I guess it is where you are in your headspace,
Mm.
Do you know, I did that stereotypical older person thing where I'm like giving advice to my son and his cousin, and in my head I'm like, they're just waiting for me to stop talking. I'm giving them $1 trillion advice. Like, you would have to skip 15 steps with my advice, and they're just like, go ahead. Don't maim each other. Go ahead.
But you can't tell them that, or it just like reinforces it and makes it worse.
No, because when you're like 14 and cousins younger, a couple years younger, they come up with conclusions. They come to me with these dissertations, and I'm like, you're so wet behind the ear, I'm gonna need a canoe to have this conversation. That's why I like taking my son downtown, because he'll say certain things and I'm like, let's go downtown. I make a right down one street. He's like, oh, This is real life down here, you know. My father did the same thing, but you know, you gotta each one teach one, as the cliche goes.
Yeah, sometimes you look back upon your youth and you realize you did the same thing when you were a kid.
But that's why I try not to be too much of a hypocrite. Because like my son and his cousins and his friends are like innocent compared to how me and my cousin, we were telling the same lie to our parents saying, "Oh, I'm spending the night at William's house. I'm spending the night at Knucklehead's house." You know, my heart would drop if I didn't know where my child was. But it's different because we have our kids come with trackers. But I try to remember that because we were, you know, when I turned 16, me and my friends would go to Tijuana.
Mm.
They've changed the drinking age because of my generation. It's now 18. I've asked the A word a bunch. I've looked it up. It is now 18 in Tijuana.
Mm.
Because, you know, Tijuana was that land of Pinocchio where all the kids go to get donkey ears.
Too many American kids coming down causing a ruckus.
Imagine the city being torn down by a bunch of 16-year-olds.
Oh.
And even when they passed the passport law, the numbers didn't dip at all. People kept going, you know. Oh, what a world, what a world. Today's been a crazy day, but I'm glad that I got this cut out.
Oh. Did you get is that a different color or is it just the angle? Oh, okay. It was just the angle. I wasn't sure if you got a white one and
oh man, I forgot I was edging that. But you know what though? On Mondays I try to chill out. I try not to because I sew so much. I feel like I'm gonna burn myself out. Stupid Americans coming down here to get drunk and bring. It's so true. They made a ton of money off of this, but they changed the law, so it said something. It said like, "Hey, stop sending your 16-year-olds. We're gonna change the law," and it's the entire country. So they changed the law. But if you think about it, it's still 21 here. It's like what 18 in the UK, 16 in certain. Like you told me 16 in certain places, 18 in other places. You know. I traveled when I was over 21, and so I didn't have any of those barriers, you know. And when I originally traveled, when I was 8, I didn't drink back then.
what?
It wasn't my concern.
No.
Not at all. But it is true. And you know when a border town passes a law to keep kids away, you know it's bad.
I was wondering, I mean, was that a problem with American kids or was that a problem with local kids too?
I think anytime you have some drinking age that low, it's with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Because let's be real. When do these addictions start? If you ask the average addict, when did you start doing so and so, they'll say 12, 13, 14. You know, it was in developing years. You know, so if your drinking age is 16, and which is, you know, I love it when people say this, and I'm in the father circle, so I always hear the statistic and it makes me laugh, but it's true. They say that like you need a parent more from the time you're 16 to you're 25. Then, you know, then they're not saying then before, you know, but they're saying just as much as when they were a child, they need you, if not more, in those formative years, you know, because they need someone to help guide you, you know. And 16 was insane. I went down there with my friends. It makes my heart drop. My son will be there in 2 years. I couldn't imagine him with TJ with his cousin who's a knucklehead too. Like mine was too. Like I couldn't imagine. I think 16 is a bit young. I like Ohio. I like what Ohio used to be. 18 to 21, you could drink a 3.2 beer or wine. When you turn 21, you could drink whatever. I have not heard that saying in a very long time. Do you remember the beer that just said beer? It was a white can.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder why they stopped selling it.
Was that like a certain store's brand? Because there were other things besides it would just, that was like
That was, like bottom of the barrel, like that was just that company. It became their staple, and they kept going with it and going with it and going with it, Because by the time I came around, it was a running joke.
Mhm.
Like if someone showed up with one of those, everyone would come around him and be like, "Oh, are you kidding me? I can't believe you bought that," 16 is a bit young. The generic beer would be a social media. That's what I'm saying. Like, in Albuquerque, they renamed their team to the Isotopes because the Simpsons had a team named the Albuquerque Isotopes. And so their old team, it was something else. It was it was the Rockets or something. I have the t-shirt, but now they're the Albuquerque Isotopes. So that would be a sensation.
I think the trouble with things like that at 16, that kind of late teens, young adult kind of age, you feel way more grown up than you are. Like you don't have enough experience under your belt and you're still a little reckless. And I think that's a bad combination.
I 1000% agree with you. I always equated to, I had very hardcore beliefs when I was 16. In no way, shape, or form do I believe anything, even in the nebula. I wouldn't even say realm. We're not even in the same region of space that I used to feel when I was 16 years old. And if I was like locked into something, and I'm not even trying to get political, but like, there's no way. I do not feel the same way as I did back then, Albuquerque Isotopes rolls off the tongue really. Right? I have to find my shirt now because I have a cutoff shirt. It's one of the million shirts I have, but it's the old Albuquerque name. I forgot what the team was called. In that area, though, it's really cool. The minor league baseball teams, they are named after like nuclear. They're named like the Protons because there's a ton of nuclear reactors in Arizona and Albuquerque. Ton of them. We just don't talk about it. There's a huge nuclear reactor outside of Arizona that powers all of Arizona and half of San Bernardino County. Huge. You can see it when you're driving into Phoenix because it looks like the two plumes from The Simpsons. It's crazy. It's crazy.
I read an article advocating for nuclear power. They were saying it's one of those that, like, because they're so afraid of an accident, they take really good care of things. And then unless something goes catastrophically wrong, that you don't get a lot of the pollution and problems that you do with other sources of power.
You do, but there was a crack in San Onofre. I used to surf all the time, and then all of a sudden you couldn't go in within like literally 30 miles of the place. They wouldn't even let you get off the freeway.
Right.
Because you used to be able to surf next to the nuclear reactor. That was like you would literally be in the water and look up and see the dome and everything. And I dare you to go there now. I say that, I look up, my surfboard's right here. I bet if I put a black light on that thing, it'd be glowing. I'm kidding. But yeah, San Onofre cracked.
Yeah.
But it wasn't as bad as Fukushima because they fixed it instantly. But like they were like, don't go near the water, for a long time. Stupid hippies got everybody afraid of nuclear power and accelerated climate change with cool and natural gas as a result. It's been a while since I've heard anyone say stupid hippies, but I agree with you. It's true. No, it's extremely true. But where's that line? Because like anyone who drives to Vegas from Southern California will know that the Mojave Desert is just wind farm as far as the eye can see.
Mm.
Those windmills are everywhere in those hills, and that is the Mojave Desert. Especially when you go on the 15 and you make that weird right to go towards Vegas. During the day, if you look out in the middle of the Mojave Desert, all you see are just endless hills and windmills.
And those windmills are huge too.
Oh,
Like,
they're huge.
You don't get like the proper perspective because they're so big. Like it just looks like a little, do.
Spatial perception is real. And then the closer you get to it, you're like, oh my gosh, these things are humongous. Have you seen the giant solar array?
Not in person, no.
It's just a bunch of mirrors, and it's basically they harness the power of the sun. And people have claimed that it's a space laser. No, it just gets so hot that birds get cooked in the air. That's true. And if you drive past it on a day, like there's like when you come down, Vegas is in a valley, and State Line is not Las Vegas. State Line at every border, the state of Nevada puts casinos because they don't play. And so when you go to State Line, when you're driving from the California side, there is one of the largest arrays on the west coast of mirrors that harness the power of the sun. And I won't repeat what Kilroy's saying here, but Marjorie Taylor Greene, I always invert her name. Did I actually say it right that time?
You did.
Wow. She said that's what it was because she's crazy and she hates California. It's literally a bunch of mirrors that harness the power of the sun. It's not even anything sinister.
I wonder if there's something they can do to repel the birds, like, because you know how on certain buildings and stuff, they'll put a,
Spikes.
Like an owl decoy to keep the birds away because they think there's an owl there,
I was always wondering if you could use like hypersonic like waves or something to keep the birds away because they're flying south. What they're doing is they're all flying south, and that just happens to be there. It's in the middle of the desert, so it's part of their path,
Yeah.
And a lot of people have complained about that. Like a lot of I get bored. I stay up all night, as you know, and I cruise the PETA website and stuff. And you'd be surprised. Like that's how I found out about the birds falling out of the air was on their website. It's mirrors boiling water and making it into steam. It's and when you it's the craziest thing. So when you come down into the valley, you can see State Line, and then you turn this corner and you get this whoosh of heat from the mirrors. It's the strangest thing. It's it's this weird part. And it's lit. It doesn't matter if it's a cold day or not. You feel it. If the sun's out. Because I've driven past in the rain, and it's weird when you don't feel it.
Kilroy mentioned that there are a bunch of windmills in Iowa, too. Do you follow Cole the Corn Star?
No.
He's a farmer guy in Iowa, I believe. And they put a couple windmills on their farm just for, extra income.
Are they huge?
The windmills?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've seen some hillbilly ones where I'm like, you did not build that out of wood. That is embarrassing.
Well, there were you can get personal size windmills, and then you can lease your property to the full size ones, like you do an arrangement so that they plant a windmill and you get revenue from it.
I wonder if it's still there. I used to drive to Vegas all the time. In Palmdale, California, there is a man who lives off the freeway, and he got famous for his wooden windmill, and he would add to it. So over the years, it just got bigger and bigger. Oh, I gotta look that up and see if it's still there. I'm gonna call someone who drives past that all the time and see if it's still there. I wonder. No, my neighborhood's zoned weird. I know this for a fact. I'm not allowed to have. I can't even have a pit bull. I can't have any exotic animals. At my job, you can own a giraffe, a tiger. Literally, it's on the other side of town. On this side of town, like you can't even set off firecrackers. Some Amish people put up their own DIY windmills to charge up batteries for different things like power tools, lights, etc. See? And I bet it's made out of wood. But it's just a sight to see off the freeway as you're driving. People are like, what is this monstrosity? But I no longer have a compulsive gambling habit, so I haven't been to Vegas in a while.
Very good. Compulsive gambling habit's dangerous to have.
I really want to go back, but it's going to be more for sewing machines, and antique stuff. But see, the thing is, now that I know my price, I'm not going to pay some, like certain antique shops. They think just because they're out in the middle of nowhere and there's some rust on a sewing machine, they're hoping you don't know what it is,
Mm-hmm.
Like when I bought my star, I bought that for $25 and it's worth $1 million to me,
Mm-hmm.
But I bought it at an antique place. So I got spoiled because every other machine that is considered antique starts at $100.
Mm.
And there's just no meat on the bone for that,
Yeah.
That reminds me, I've been moving everything around. Isaiah stopped me last night because I was going to put the table behind me right here to give myself even more room. And he's like, you need to stop right now. Because now I have all the room for my mannequins. I was able to put, the mannequin right there. The zipper was put on in 10 seconds once I pinned it, Dress forms are amazing.
Mm. I got one. I need to pad it out so that it's, because it's like you get one that's really small and then you can put it to your size. So I need to make it my size and put a cover on it. Right now, it's just standing there in a bathrobe.
It's so funny that you would say that. I'm gonna go to the can real quick, but
right.
But the mannequins and I are the exact same height. Because 5'9" is the standard worldwide. And so the mannequins and I are the exact same. It's creepy. We're like eye to eye, and I'm like, okay, I can measure the coats by literally by the mannequins.
That works out well.
It does.
But I think most mannequins are adjustable too, so you can make it your height. So who all is here? I'm ready, Kilroy. You can come up with an amusing anecdote or a zinger one-liner. Oh, I have news. I talked to my friend, and I have coordinated for Thursday. She is going to film while I clean that treadle machine. So I'm very excited because I wasn't sure how I was going to film it and clean it at the same time. It's hard to get in underneath, and I didn't want to be trying to film and just end up with a bunch of footage of my back or leaning over and my butt. It's not something for the internet to see. Need to get a tripod. Well, I do have a tripod, which is good for if I'm doing something far away or some other, but I was trying to get all underneath and stuff. I was just trying to figure out how I was going to get a good angle for filming and also for me seeing, and have my hands free. So
Are you talking about are you on the iPad?
Oh, I'm on the iPad now, but no, I was saying that I've arranged, my friend is going to come on Thursday and help me film cleaning the treadle machine.
Awesome.
Yeah, because I was, for a lot of my machines, they'll just go on a table and then it's easier to get some angles and stuff. But I didn't want to try to film myself, trying to get a good angle at what I'm doing and, to hold the camera or get it underneath. And Kilroy was saying I should get a tripod. Well, I have a tripod, but if it's back too far, you can't really see what I'm doing. I'm just leaning over doing this motion, and so I thought it would be easier to have a mini film crew.
Joy and I think you should do a live.
I'm not, yeah, I think I would much rather film it and edit it so that I'm not having to stay on and with it and eloquent, and so that I can edit good angles and keep it interesting. And
hold on, let me look around. Did you just say eloquent? And do you know where you are? We are in the house of sewing. I was rambling and speaking nonsense before you got here, and everybody was having a great time. This is YouTube.
Well, you're free to ramble but I would be afraid of getting tongue-tied, and then when I get a little tired, I get brain fog, and
Middle name.
It would be a struggle. So
that is literally how I function. Brain fog, stammering. I don't know what I would be without my stuttering and stammering. A long time ago, someone gave me some advice where you just gotta throw it out there.
Mm-hmm.
You just gotta do it.
Mm-hmm.
I tell myself that all the time. Like, even with my sewing machine of the week and all that stuff, like, I talked about it and I was like, well, I talked about it. I might as well do it. I might as well actually put one foot in front of the other and do it. But having a tripod, it's different though, because I have a camera, which I'm remembering I might have to buy a new cord for. My fancy Canon camera, I messed around with the cord so much that I just noticed the cord was frayed.
Mm.
And then when I plugged it in last night, it was blinking, and it's never blinked before.
Oh no.
But it was charged. It charged it. Maybe because I always walk away from it. I always charge it and walk away from it. So maybe I just didn't notice,
Maybe.
Problem is, when the camera costs as much as it did, the charger usually costs more.
Maybe you can repair the charger?
It's right at the base though, so I'd have to take the whole thing apart. It's not like it's right at the elbow piece.
Is the cord itself frayed, or is it just like the covering and stuff?
Let's take a look. I put it over. I moved it out of shame. I was like, I can't even look at you.
But back to your comment, I am going to just do it. I'm just going to do it in a way where I can edit it instead of living it. If it were like a different machine, I would maybe live it, but I didn't want to be at 3 hours of awkward angles while I'm trying to film.
So it's hanging on by a thread, literally. You see that metal? You should not be seeing any metal. That's the cord.
Yeah.
It's coming off.
That is very frayed. Oh my goodness.
I travel around with it. This thing, I've had my camera for almost two years now. 2 or 3 years. If I really look, almost 2 or 3 years. I dropped my original camera and it broke, and everybody's like, what are you gonna do? I went to Best Buy and paid as much as a used Honda Accord for this thing. I'm gonna Amazon it though, because it should be on Amazon. I'm just waiting for Prime Day. What time?
Actually, tomorrow is Prime Day
at midnight.
Yeah. Now we know where Pam and Alibaba went. They went to get ready for Prime Day. So speaking of Prime...
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go no, please. I'm a natural born interrupter.
Oh. Well, we were both excited about something at the same time. It happens. Woohoo! I have a question for you. I've got a used tripod because I thought, that would be handy. Could have a second tripod. I have another one, but this one seemed nicer. But the shoe is not anything I've ever seen. And I'm wondering, is this like a proprietary or is this like a
You doesn't.
camcorder connection?
It
Are you-
needs the clip.
So
me
it's just
check.
missing because it looked like this. You can loosen this up and it'll flip, and this flips up. So it seemed like this was the clip, but it seemed like it was maybe the
No,
clip
it's
for
missing.
like a video camera or something.
It's missing this piece. Let me show you. It's missing this piece.
It's missing that piece. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was expecting to have that kind of connection on it, and then I saw this, and I was very disappointed.
You can find one. They're not all created equal. You need to find out what size it is, and you can order one. But like, you have to have your this lives on here because I only use one tripod for this camera. That way I don't lose it.
Because it has like a quick release and everything, and so I don't know. So I guess I just need to get the clip that then goes into the shoe on the camera.
Yeah. They're useless without it.
Yeah. Well, fortunately, I didn't pay too much for that tripod.
That's like because that's one of the million things I collect when I go out, and I always look to make sure it has the screw piece.
Yeah. I thought it did. I was mistaken.
It'll be in my book. The art of thrifting, the art of being a thrifty pirate, the thrifty pirate thrifts. It's a working title. Today I've been pushing myself too hard lately, so I'm trying to relax a little bit. Because I burn myself out with the amount that I sew. Like, I burn myself out. I make 3 to 4 items a week now. When even back when I was doing my videos, I would make 1 or 2 a week and then make my video, But now I've really been pushing myself, so I have to remind myself. Because when you love to do something, if you push yourself enough, you will be like, ugh. And the one thing I don't want to do is walk out here and dread being out here, This is my happy place. This is where I come to hide and cry sometimes. I'm kidding. But, this is my happy place. So all the cool stuff's in here. Kidding.
Well, I mean, you're not wrong.
Well, I did put a chair in my closet for days like today when it was hot, so I can go in there and read. In the air, enjoying my air conditioning. No, it was unreal today, and I'm over it. I think that's part of the thing too, where I was like, I need to take a day off because I came out here and it was just unreal hot in here, and I'm like, why is it still hot? Why?
When does the weather change?
No worries, Joy. I'll be here for a little bit longer. No worries.
I'm so ready for winter.
I am. And you know what? I said this about summer. I won't complain. And I complained all summer long. We have extreme, our weather is very extreme now. And so it goes from one to the other,
Yeah. Well, we get the autumn is a time of change. So you get hot and cold until it finally settles down. I'm ready for it to settle. Well, I'm looking at the weather, and at least it doesn't say it's going to be 90 anymore.
Oh, I was going to jump if I didn't see Godzilla. My computer's lagging behind. I think it's my download speed or something. I might have to go full Karen on Spectrum again.
Oh, goodness.
So I'm so sorry I interrupted because I'm from the tribe of interrupters. The weather's going to be awful, you said.
Well, no, I said it's not going to be as awful as they said it was previously. So that was it. You didn't interrupt.
So to say something crazy that's actually feasible that like I need everyone to talk me out of, which I've already said 4 or 5 times. Tell me I do not need to buy a sewing factory.
Um,
And it's a huge building. When I looked at the specs, it's literally like the front of 8th Street. Like it is huge.
I mean, I'm not necessarily fully opposed to this. It depends on the circumstances. Are you going to rent it? Are you going to turn it into housing? Are you going to live there? Are you going to, what would you do with said building? I need to know before I cast my judgment.
I have the same question. I have to find out who lives there. Cause like I would never kick Modelo guy out. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? He's a real person to me.
Mhm.
And I'm not heartless like that. So if I found out that a bunch of people lived there, then I don't know.
Mhm.
That's a very good question. Because when I bought the purple fabric, and this was on 9th Street in the heart of the fashion district where everything is thriving. This one man appeared to me like he was living in the shop. He was
Yeah.
around my age. He seemed kind of go WWF on Spectrum. I will, Kilroy. I will. Spectrum, what are you gonna do when someone mania runs wild on you? I like that. I have to put my giant headband on for that one. But
That's it.
oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, that was it. Put your headband on and call Spectrum.
I'm gonna have to take an aspirin before I call Spectrum.
Yeah, I think I'd want to know what the zoning is for that building too, because that what you're able to do with it affects how good of an investment it is.
And because I'm 100% honest, it's at the very edge of everything. I found this shop because I'm an explorer. Like he quite literally is the last shop in it's on 8th in town. If you go downtown when I say downtown, I mean town street, there's people living on the side of the building.
Mm.
In a significant amount of people. More than
As in
15.
unhoused people living up against the wall?
Yes. But they're more because there's a split street town, downtown is on a weird grid. And so if you make a left on town coming from the direction I do, there's a weird split because the building is basically half of that entire street.
Could you maybe would it be feasible and viable to turn it into like small house? I don't know, tiny is a bit of a misnomer, but maybe large size tiny homes for people of lower income.
So not getting too deep into the politics behind it, this particular group of people are the ones that in the outreach world we say they voluntarily are there.
Mm.
They are of sound mind and body, and if you ask them like, hey, here's housing, they would much rather be there.
Yeah.
Because of other ancillary issues and things that go on in their life.
Well, I didn't necessarily mean those people in particular, because there are some people who like to be nomadic, but I know that we have a housing crisis, and so it could be something that could be a boon for the community as well as you to make small apartments that are small affordable apartments.
You know
and
what's really funny?
Downtown is revitalizing.
It's funny that would say that. 8 years ago, this man I knew and I made a bunch of tiny homes and we put them out on the streets in the city of Los Angeles, confiscated them.
Yeah.
And took them, all of them, So like you said, there's always weird zoning. There's always, but I've been looking at the logistics of it, and it would be a Herculean task to own a sewing factory. Because there's that fantasy of like me and my skateboard, skating around the factory. Then there's the reality of it.
Mm-hmm.
And also because I blend into the neighborhood, I'll say things like, oh, because the fashion district is safe. It's clean. But if you go veer off 6 blocks, you're in downtown Los Angeles,
Mm-hmm.
And you can almost see how with the security guards and the cops, they almost have a corridor of like, we're going to keep this area super sparkly. And the streets even smell like Fabuloso. I'm not kidding you. It's clean. I heard someone say that and I'm like, oh my gosh. Because when I walked past a group of tourists and they had to have been like from New York or something because they were like, they said the biggest cliche joke. And I heard it last time I was there. I'm walking, I put stuff in my car and I lock my car, I leave, and I heard this lady tell a group of other women, she's like, you can tell LA locals because they measure things not in distance, but in time. And as I'm walking away, I'm like, oh, that's so true. Rude woman. Oh, that's so true. And I was so offended. I beeped my car while she was talking. So my car went boop while she was talking because I'm like, oh, the truth hurts. She's right.
But I mean, it makes such a difference because you say how far is something, and people say, well, when are you going?
Yeah, exactly. So true. But I didn't think about it. The SRA hotels got closed, and that's why there's a lot of by choice homeless people. So true, because 20 something years ago, the SROs were open. I actually am a part of an organization that's trying to open them back up, but because of gentrification, the rent's so high. Like
Mm.
the SROs can't afford rent because a couple presidents ago, not even the one you think, they took a lot of the funding away.
Mm.
And it's not the one that you love to hate. It's a different one. The rivers run with Fabuloso. It is such a smell. And downtown LA smells like it. It does. It's the streets smell like Fabuloso. It's true. In Pennsylvania, we measure things by time too because of the terrain. 50 miles might take longer than 50 miles in Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it is here. Like, quite honestly, it's so weird that like downtown does not seem it. It's a certain mileage from my house, but if I was to go that mileage in any other direction, it would take me 20 minutes, like let's say 40 minutes to get there. But the downtown, it takes me an hour and a half,
Mm.
Do you think it's because when you get closer to downtown, there's just a hodgepodge of humans?
Well, more people and cars are not a sustainable way of doing traffic, just because of space and everything. But that aside, the downtown streets are confusing. Even if you know where you're going, you still have to watch, and then people are like, oh crap, I needed to be over there. And then there's a lot of stuff in a very small amount of space. And so a lot of people, coming and going and entering and exiting the freeway and the roads. And I think that just the whole combination of everything.
I love going down there, but the anxiety of like from the end of Griffith Park to Main Street, it just makes it not worth it. And that's literally 2 or 3 freeway exits away from each other.
Mm.
And depending on the traffic, that could be anywhere from 5 seconds, 5 minutes, or a half an hour.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
because I used to live in Hollywood, I used to get off in the Los Feliz area. I would go through Hollywood and then come back. But like, I did that recently, and let me tell you, the neighborhood's changed. And a lot more people go to Hollywood. It's weird to me when I drive past Hollywood and you really see TikTokers there doing their thing. Have a great night, Gilroy. I'll be
Bye,
back on
Gilroy.
Wednesday. I'll be back on Wednesday. Same bad time, same bad channel. Taking a day off today. Even though I'm upset. I'm back on my weird obsession with have a great night, Gilroy. Thank you so much for being here. I'm back on my obsession with headbands though. Do you think it's because I'm from the Karate Kid era? Let's talk about it.
I mean, that could be an explanation.
It was geared towards kids my age. Like I was there for both, especially the second one. Oh man, that movie filled karate schools, at least here.
What do you think about have you seen where the people break down and they say that oh dang it, what's his name? What was the Karate Kid's name? Not the actor, but the character.
Oh, Daniel,
That's it. Have you seen where they break it down and they say that Daniel was actually the villain?
no, but I watched the first 3 episodes of Cobra Kai and they made me cry because because like they show they became real people. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
They grew up and they were like the guy was a real guy, you know.
Mhm.
I have a friend of mine, like I grew up around a bunch of winners. People that went to college. I have a friend of mine that played in the NFL. And then I have a friend who never left my hometown, you know, and he reminds me of that character.
Mm.
And I'm going to talk about him because I know he's not watching. But those people exist is what I'm trying to say. Not everybody becomes a millionaire. Not everybody is pitching in the World Series like the person I'm thinking of. Not everybody, the rest of us are sitting at home, Cobra Kai, got to go work at Honda in the morning. To me, that's more real life, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I loved the first 3 episodes. But it became just like the Orville for me. I just didn't get into it.
Did you go back and try to watch the Orville?
No,
anymore?
not yet. I think what I'm gonna do is just buy the are they still making it?
Yes, I think they are, but there's a lot of time between seasons. I think in part because it takes a lot to film it. And then for a while they were trying to find a new platform for airing it because of when the whole like Fox News controversy was going. The Orville was on Fox, and so they were trying to switch some things around. And
Speaking of which, the Hollywood strike is over.
is the whole thing over? I knew
Yeah.
that part of it was, but I wasn't sure. Like,
They're talking about it like it is. Maybe we might get those 3 Star Trek shows they were filming that they stopped filming, and they're all filming them in my hometown. Picard was filmed in my hometown. Well, all the parts, like the outskirt parts.
well, you were close to LA proper, but also rural enough that you could make it look like you were out in wherever.
That whole Chateau Picard is in Valverde, California. That was originally where Nat King Cole and a bunch of really famous Black people moved to get away from Hollywood. Now it's a really scary, like, I'll take you in there one day. They're the only monument they have to the people who built that town is there's a clinic. It's called the Samuel L. Dixon Clinic, and you walk in and there's a picture of Samuel L. Dixon, and that's it. That town was built by millionaires. Louis Armstrong lived there. If you think about it, Natalie Cole grew up there. It's weird to me because it's like it's out in the middle of nowhere, you know. But there's like living history, and it's a ghost town. It's not a ghost town. It's very rural and large properties, if you know what I'm saying.
Okay.
So they're more down home people out there now.
That makes something feel more ghosty if you're used to living somewhere where, your neighbors are right there and the streets are all there. And
oh yeah. And if you go really deep into the mountain, you can drive up to the old mansions and they're abandoned and no one has really lived there. It's weird. It's weird. It's a part of California history that, like, I could be the weird Hill Hausner. Do you remember Hill Hausner?
Mm-hmm.
I could be like the alternative Hill Hausner.
Why were they all abandoned?
Time. Not even a good story, just time. And people couldn't afford the upkeep and people didn't want to live there. It's out in the middle of nowhere. You know, and this was pre-phone lines. This was pre, like, you know, you'd have to spend a lot of money to modernize it. I'm sure someone eventually will. You know. Well, you and I can continue this conversation, but I'm gonna end this stream. You know, a couple weeks ago, Mark Short told us that he had stage 4 cancer, you know, and he's not around anymore. So you are deeply missed, my friend. And I'll keep your name alive as long as I am, you know. Man, I almost ended this on tears. Deep breath. Deep breath. But seriously, Joy, I want to thank you because I know you're still here. You are the best. You are absolutely the best. I'll be back at it on Wednesday. I'm gonna have a ton of stuff to sew. And I took my microphone off. I like taking it for walks around the room. Absolutely, Joy. It makes me want to just fall on the ground and cry. You are absolutely appreciated, Joy. You are absolutely appreciated. And like I said, I'll leave you with a little Mark Short story. Like when I started streaming again, I didn't know who was going to click on. And Mark Short and Butterfly, you know, and Kilroy. But Mark Short was one of the first people to be like, hey, you still count, you know? So you're missed, my friend. You are missed. So I will be back at it on Wednesday. I have everything out. I have everything. I have a short. I'm just gonna put a random community out just to say that I have everything out. I have 2 videos, lives, Godless Sewing at the Godless Sewing. Check me out. To anyone watching this in the future, I absolutely thank you. To everyone who's made it this far, thank you. Joy, a special thanks to you. I will see everybody on Wednesday, and thank you for joining me, Waterne. Thank you for joining
My
me.
pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Like I always say, reinforce your seams, be yourself, and I will definitely see you next time.